What is up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video, another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. I am your host, Edward Anderson. We are going to do kind of a pre-late night hour. As you know, it's 10:30 where I am, 7:30 where you are. And we're going to see how long this goes. Turn this on, watch this fucking game a little bit. Shout out to KD, for example, for the multitude of cash apps. He gave me two cash apps for $10 today on my stint on Bernard Riley's. That is much appreciated. Shout out to the new Patreon pledges as well. You know who you are. I will start naming you. Much appreciated. And shout out to you all that participated in the poll. And shout out to the 15% of people that think I'm a closet simp, which is funny. But anyway, I actually do appreciate those opinions because that shows that people are hearing different parts of the message. Oh shit, I didn't even know the Bears were playing. I hope I recorded that. Hopefully these motherfuckers catch up. Anyway, so got that going. So anyway, we're gonna have a good conversation today. I haven't been live in a while. I'm actually feeling a little bit under the weather. That's how it goes. Whenever it's like a holiday or my birthday or something like that, some shit is always going down. What's up, Angela? What's up, Jim Rat? And shout out to Mr. Fantastic. We had a little. It wasn't. I don't even consider it a stint. I understand that Fantastic is kind of restless. He wants to get in the game again, and that's all fine. I'm not here to really fight. I'm here to have a conversation, but at the same time, I'm not going to be like railroaded. When I know what I'm saying is correct, and especially when I know factually what I'm saying is correct, and that is what that is. I'm really here just to have a conversation, move the conversation forward. Shout out to Bernard Riley. So I just want to put that out there. But had a little extra dose of nigga juice on that. But anyway, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. There is a couple of things I want to talk about. You see the title, so we're gonna go through a couple of things. And also shout out to Grinch. I'm telling you all, if you all listen to me, you should be subscribed to Grinch. Number one. Number two, I would also say that definitely watch his latest video he put out. A lot of y'all always, especially for you all that are always about, the state of this space and those type of folks. This is going to be a great state of the union. I think this is a good state of the union going into 2022. I like to think about 2022 2 months in advance because it allows you to really build the momentum that's necessary in order to really get some stuff done, to actually take that seriously, not be emotional about it. Like, oh, I need to do a New Year's resolution like we all do. And then that stuff dissipates. The way I look at it right now, you got Black Friday with your money goes further, get some stuff you may need to get. Obviously December, and then you going into tax season and all of that. I actually pay taxes or whatever. But my point is, definitely check that out because it'll definitely it'll give you a good tune up as far as how to look at the space from somebody that's been in here, somebody that definitely understands it. So definitely check that out. And a lot of stuff I'm gonna talk about now is really gonna piggyback off of that. It's not gonna repeat a lot of the same things, but definitely is gonna piggyback on some things. It's like that's gonna be in the background. So if you go watch that, you'll get maybe a little bit better perspective on what I'm talking about. We'll see about bringing people on. So let's jump right into it. The first thing is the body count conversation. I appreciate that Triple X. Like, I try to contribute. And I'm not here to try to take over shit. I'm here to contribute when, I try to be a teammate in that sense. And yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But for right now, let's first thing I'm gonna jump on is a thing that's really on my memory, which is and I want y'all to keep in the background. A lot of this stuff will give a much more richer context if you listen to Grinch's stream, the one that I shared. So keep that in mind. So anyway, so shout out to Shannon. I shared it. I believe I shared his stream. I will say this: Shannon does, give good conversations for somebody of his age. He kind of strikes me if Ron Wells I didn't even know Fantastic was live right now. I didn't even know that. But anyway, it's kind of like because I probably might not have went on just to give him some rope. But yeah, it's a lot of people live right now. Damn, my bad. Anyway, I just kind of threw this shit on here. That's what I kind of did. I know, damn, he's got a good topic too, talking about talking about Summer Walker, and I don't know. I know Summer Walker mentioned Kevin Samuels, Bruno Mars. Anyway, but yeah, that's actually interesting because all of this is gonna coincide. All right, y'all, hold on 1 second. Let y'all filter in here. All right, so let's focus my thoughts here. So, like I was saying, so we got a lot of good streams in here. It is what it is. I'm not gonna be mad if you check something else out and come double back to this. You know how we know how it is. So, let me break some shit down real quick. Get that shit off. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's break some shit down real quick. And this is and I'm glad I know a lot of people are on because that's actually a good thing because this is gonna be maybe an hour and a half, and it's gonna be a monologue. So that's good. All right. Let's start with the body count shit. Shout out to Shannon. Shannon Rawls, I believe. Shannon has some, really good streams. And BGS is over there, some of the crew is over there. It's kind of like an in-between thing that brings a good amount of conversation, which is really great. Today he had a title called he had a title about talking about, is there such a thing as too much sex which disqualifies you from marriage? Now I saw bits and clips of it, so keep that in mind. But like the part of it that I saw with BGS, had BGS on there, had Lauren on there. Lauren generally gets a lot of good props on the Lapeef network, just like Courtney used to. And there's a reason I keep mentioning Grinch in the background, like with that video he did, because one thing you have to understand, I want to make it clear, and I'm not even talking about like targeting like Lauren or targeting a particular woman, but one of the dynamics in this space, and you're gonna see this happen a lot with like the space going more mainstream, media opens it up to more subscribers, where people are gonna want to get a lick and make some money. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna probably reorganize the channel to put in position to more financial growth. I put in the work. I kind of know how to balance everything out and stay true to what I want this to do. Because I've thought a long time for that. But with those factors coming in here, you have to understanding that dynamic, but also the other dynamic is this concept of wanting to reset the matrix all the time, always wanting to reset the conversation. And women do this in their dating lives as well. Like depending on where they are, whether they're in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, early 40s, 50s. They always want to reset the conversation. They always want to create, and part of this, I'm going to say, is biological to the extent that it's allowed, but they always want to create an environment, a mental environment in their own head, as well as a mental, or rather, overall environment that basically allows for them to get the best mates that they can get. Best mates, least amount of effort. That's in general. But one thing about our women is our women have a unique issue of really not wanting to compete, quite frankly, because they don't believe their men are worth it. They have part of black women not competing for black men is really an issue with them being taught to resent black men, to not view black men as other men. It's really racism and white supremacy. And the thing is, ultimately that fucks them up, because that actually makes it so their other women are able to get black men, because other women have been properly trained to compete for a man, and maybe they won't compete for a black man as hard as they will compete for a non-black, for somebody that looks like them in their group. But that doesn't mean that drop is just that's like it goes from 100% to zero. And in our women's minds, they think other races of women view black men like they do. And even if that's true, the thing about it is how they go about it is still going to be predicated on how their culture and how they're socialized. So even if non-black women do view black men as a fetish, they're still not going to require, as it's not going to be some 90-10 bullshit rule, because a lot of non-black women don't have that resentment. This is not to say they don't have their issues, because they obviously do. But they don't have that resentment. And that's the thing that black women don't really want to acknowledge. So my point is, when you look at things like, so when you look at this concept of wanting to reset the conversation, it's always, like, think about it. We're post 2010. So we're pretty much post Me Too. We're definitely almost right in COVID, where it was just shifted a lot of stuff. You got the 2010s that came through, which pretty much made stripper culture absolutely mainstream. And as usual, black women, even though Latins are doing it just as much, black women are the face of it. Whore culture is really mainstream. This is why you got people talking about sex workers and shit like that. Remember, Netflix and chill kind of gained really notoriety early in the 2010s, so that has been cemented. It's a lot of things that have been cemented. You've got millennials that are hitting 40s, or like late 30s, early 40s now. You've got Z's that are actually coming into the dating market, which those women have a different mentality, because those women were literally born into social media. They were born in it. Millennials were transitions. They were born into it, which means their brains are actually programmed a lot stronger with this social media, because their brains don't really know a world without it, which very much matters as far as how much that shit is going to influence those females and influence those males compared to the already strong influence it has on millennials already. And you see the influence it has on older people, as they feel like they missed out. You got females that when Model Mayhem was big, now you got, like, it just wasn't as easy as it is right now. Damn, he went right after his motherfucker. He was like, damn. It's just not. And so all these dynamics are in the background. And just because they don't get brought into a conversation doesn't mean this stuff is not always in the background influencing stuff. It's like the subconscious, and it has a lot more stronger influence than what people like to admit to. So we always have these conversations that have a lot of tunnel vision. So my point is, why am I saying it this way? Because one of the things that Lauren said, and there was a lot of stuff that was said, but one of the things that really stuck out to me was she kept saying a woman's perspective, a woman's perspective, a woman's perspective. And you hear Danielle break down their titles and all that. One thing about a woman's perspective is generally the shit doesn't have, it most of the time it lacks context. And a lot of times women think, well, a woman's perspective, just because it's a woman's perspective doesn't mean it brings value to the conversation. Usually a woman's perspective is you all projecting what you think and saying, well, because I think this, men think this, which is a fundamentally feminist thought process. Even if you're not a card carrying feminist, it is very feminist and gynocentric in nature. There was a time, even let's say the 90s and below, where women understood men think different. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. It was understood that men think fundamentally different than women. So chances are, if you think that as a woman, then a man is probably not going to think that. So your job is to be able to translate what you think and apply it into the logical world, so to speak. Women don't believe that because women fundamentally have this mentality that men and women are the same. When they understand that you're not sexually attracted to a man that thinks like you. So it's like your brain and your body is like completely on two different planets. And I'm using Courtney because she was there. This is not saying she was hostile. Not Courtney, Lauren, because she was there. This isn't me like jumping on her or me trying to say, see, the shit she was saying was not that bad. But my thing was, it was really prototypical of what like a woman that I would consider normal thinks. If they just go with the flow. This is why I often tell you 80% of black women don't operate within common sense, because these are the women that when they get around other women, they will sync up really quickly. You have to almost completely separate them because they will easily, because emotionally it settles very well, like Legos or some shit or Jenga. So the thing is, the topic was about body count, and it was about, does your body count basically disqualify you from being married? And again, context was missing. So things were being brought up like, well, if the man knows the dude, if the man knows the dude or the dude is local and all of that, then it's more of a problem. And this is a woman's perspective. I'm like, no. And every dude, Shannon is in LA. Shannon, I think, is in his 40s, still in the game in LA at high levels. BZS is in LA, has kids, has grandkids. I believe by morning, so you had dudes on there that are in the harder markets that can speak to what the situation is. And every dude it was 4 dudes in Lauren, and these are dudes of different age brackets. BGS 60s, Shannon's like I think 40s, late 40s, and you had dudes in their 30s. So you got different regions, people that are represented that would know what the fuck they talking about. Everybody's telling you the same shit. Like different people with different like age backgrounds are telling you the same fucking shit. It wasn't even like they were arguing. And then she wasn't there to fight, but she was kind of like, it was kind of like she was taken aback by that. And you find that with Dana, it's the same shit. They get taken aback from it. And it's like, yo, like, unless dudes are really like, they got a benefit to lying, like they trying to play games on these conversations, or they're trying to, carry favor or simp. Usually a lot of us agree on a lot of this shit because this shit is common sense. It's logic. And so they were telling her, no, it doesn't matter. A high body count is a high body count. Now, to be fair, we don't really have this conversation in the manosphere like that because we can't even get past the single mother shit. Because these chicks want to be single moms. So it's like, bitch, if you don't have kids, I'm cool with that. Because what's the point in having all the conversation? Because we haven't even gotten past go yet. Shout out to Jason Hales. Edward, thank you for showing up today. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, we about to put in this work real quick. For real. And so I'm like, yo. And I don't want to really play it back because that's going to extend the video. I'll just invite you all to go check it out to my community tab. And this is probably the last half hour. The last half of the video. But it's like, yo, and I get it. Women are on, when I say emotional, it's not to say that they're being immature, but women are not really they're not, the critical thinking, comprehension are not things that reside in the emotional space. They reside in the logical space. Reason, So when you're in this conversation and it's kind of like, well, I'm going to give my emotion, my woman's perspective, which is emotion. This is because I know Lauren runs her own channel with that other female, and then they have all women. It's like where you all are, like outside of Kevin. If Kevin didn't exist, you all would really be out there. Because Kevin's the only one that can basically, well, not the only one, because Jason Black can do it too. But the main ones that kind of bring you all into fucking reality, where you all be like, oh, well, because he's got social media validation, he must be right. So y'all will kind of listen to and he looks the part. Y'all will listen to what he has to say. But without him, it's like you folks be veering off into this goofy shit. And the thing about it is, this shit is 0 hour. Maybe not with her, but a lot of y'all ain't got time to be like, oh, still, this is like pre-2010 bullshit that we're talking about. A lot of the stuff y'all are talking about was already addressed in Manosphere 1.0, which is pre-2015. We've had 5 years to pretty much get the data, get the stats, see how folks act in real time, see the cycles multiple times and how women operate. To really, and then before Kevin actually had women pretty much snitching on themselves, to pretty much go through it. But at the end of the day, the issue with the body count argument is women fundamentally do not understand what an imprint is, which is a fucking problem. Shout out to Alexis Tyler. That is a fucking problem. And that is something that women in general, black women in particular, the elders of women have purposely denied that from them in order to not help. If you don't understand the imprint, you do not understand your sexuality as a woman. You don't. That's like me telling you, you can do cocaine and there is no addictive properties with it. That's like me putting cocaine in Coca-Cola and saying in Coca-Cola, like it used to be, right? Back in the day, and say, oh, drink this. Oh no, man, you just like how it tastes. That's why you like it so much. And I'm making all of this money off of really selling drugs. That's literally what that is. That's literally what you all do. I would probably, if I had to, it probably wouldn't be cocaine. I'd probably say it's more closer to nicotine as far as it's addictive. But the thing is, you all fundamentally do not understand the imprint. And because you all, and so that's the first thing. The second thing, you all don't understand the concept of bonding. You don't understand that the more sexual partners you have, the less of ability you have to bond. This is why a dude's gotta have a fucking 8-inch, 10-inch dick. This is why niggas have to basically be fucking porn stars. Like as Glendon would say, super niggas. That's almost like what's required. Now, we know a lot of y'all because y'all want to get say, y'all ain't really doing that, but y'all ain't really committing to motherfuckers unless they either can provide the bag that will change your life, or they can do that. Now, granted, if they got, whatever the beauty markers is, like height and stuff like that, yeah. But again, for the most part, if women are not getting shit out of it, it's something they're getting that they could not get without it. It's not some, well, we're just coming together as a union. No, it ain't that. It's very transactional for the majority of women. And you see it in the mentality they have. You see it in the overall environment as far as, get the bag culture, hoe culture. You hear it in what the women say. It's not me saying it. That's the thing about Kevin. Kevin, the women fucking saying it. They said it. They've been saying it. And they were saying it before Kevin. When Chrissy and all of them would come out, well, this is why we deal with thugs. This is why we deal with D-boys. As if they're thumbing their thumbs at nose at people or finger at people, making fun of folks. I'm like, no, you all are actually, you educated lames. Like, you all don't understand. This is why you don't have a community. This is all the shit you complain about nobody builds and protects. The niggas you fucking are not niggas that build and that don't really build like that. And y'all want the niggas y'all sexually attracted to be builders. It don't really work that way. If you get those dudes are generally considered very high level. You want a thug in a suit. And again, you can want that, but when you start getting angry about the outcomes of the choices you made, like, I need to get what I deserve. No, you don't get what you deserve, but you all are getting what you're asking for. Shout out to BGS, because I'm going to start using the hell out of that. You don't get what you deserve, but you all have been getting what you asked for. The problem is you don't like it. So we want to have this quote unquote back to the table conversation. And now what y'all are finding is a lot of dudes like it on the independent shit. Especially the dudes that y'all really want to come back. The niggas that are operating like rescue hounds, like all dogs go to heaven and some shit like that, are more willing to come to the table. But y'all don't really want those folks because those dudes don't really got that much leverage anyway. The dudes y'all really want, whether it comes to genetic currency, they're not coming off of pumping and dumping. Whether it comes to economic currency, they're shopping around to see if they can get a better deal. The niggas that are really on some, it really don't matter what you do shit, y'all don't really want like that. Not really. That's really what the issue is. That's where that black men want black women more than black women want black men shit comes from. Shout out to the Swivius for the $10 super chats. The whole point for women is, well, men do it. Newsflash, women aren't men. You can't do what we do. The funny thing is you never hear this much reluctance when a double standard is in women's favor. Absolutely you don't. And that's really what a lot of this is. You're right. A lot of y'all need to start. One of the things Grinch talked about is y'all thinking critically. And a lot of this stuff is just remixes of the same tried and true tactics. And one thing I will say, is one of the things, and I've said this before, one of the things we got to do a good job, and Obsidian's talking about this, is putting shit in the written word so we can always reference certain shit, like fundamental things. Because most of the shit that a lot of women say, even if they're passively saying it, is remixes of like always a few basic tenets. Shout out to Mr. Shane Vitches. Most black women are really only good for PhD, so the body count doesn't really matter. They really aren't meant for bonding anything like. All right, Shane. So, appreciate the $5. But a lot of shit Shane does undercuts my argument because he makes my argument sound like I'm just trying to tell motherfuckers to date out, which I'm actually not. I'm just laying the cards where they may. No, I don't necessarily agree with that. A lot you keep on wanting to make the shit nature. I'm saying it's nurture. That's kind of the disagreement that we have. That's the disagreement that we have generally on these things. But anyway, and make sure y'all hit up the Cash App as well. That is always appreciated. But fundamentally, the body count conversation, there's always three parts to the body count conversation. The political aspect of it, or the socio-political aspect of it, which is what is the norms now. So you get the temperature, where the temperature is now, the concept of the imprint, and the concept of bonding. Bonding, a woman's ability to bond with sexual partners, that's pretty much been scientifically proven. It's just a matter of us gathering up the studies and the stats. That has been scientific. The imprint has not been scientifically proven, but the imprint is a well-known thing. Shout out to Pensive of Door. Welcome back. Appreciate the $5 super sticker. As always, yeah, these bears are trying to catch up, come back. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So what y'all have to understand is absence of that conversation, it's not a legit conversation. It's not. Because the first thing, like what I would have asked Lauren straight up, I would have said, Lauren, and I'm talking about in the spirit of having a true dialogue. Do you know what an imprint is? What is that? The concept of that your first three partners or three good sexual experiences are going to format the type of dudes that you like to deal with pretty much for the rest of your life. It's going to format that. Do you understand that theory? We'll call it a theory. And then you give references to Alexis Tyler and other women that's talked about it, as well as the dudes. But I first heard of it from a woman, and that's important. Because these women are always going to think we just saying shit in order to try to get our way. It's always going to be that. And this is actually what Crimson Cure was trying to tell these chicks that they don't want to understand. Because this information, see, the problem with the scientifically proven shit is white people are not the first people to understand all this shit. They're not. This stuff has been understood by a lot of different groups. It's just that it's like white people will rediscover a lot of things, and because we're socialized to believe what white people say, now all of a sudden everything's got to be reproven because it's like motherfuckers dragging their goddamn feet. Honestly, it's a form of disrespect that black men have to go over the river and through the woods to prove every fucking thing that we say. Because other races of men is just gonna say, motherfucker, you're lucky we're even going in this much detail to even tell you what the fuck is up. And not just saying, just fucking do it. Which is also in the context of these fucking conversations the dudes have to pay attention to. Now, granted, because you're on YouTube and you're trying to create a audience experience, and you have men and you may have women depending on the channel, right? That you're trying to have, you want to build a channel and foster a conversation. You want to understand that everybody don't come from the same place, but it just depends on what your goals are in this space and the balance that you want to strike. Shout out to No One for the $5 super chat. What's up, Ed and everybody? Body count conversion is about behavior. Past experience dictates future outcomes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so that's the first part, the imprint part. So if you don't know what the imprint is, then quite frankly, we can have a conversation, but I understand the conversation is not really going to go anywhere. Because if you don't know what the imprint is, then what, and you don't know what bonding is, then what's going to happen? You're going to go on what the socio-political shit is, meaning what is normal to you now. Wow, they sacked the fuck out of him. What is normal to you now? What are you comfortable with now? And then you have to understand we're post 2020 now. We're past the 2010s. A lot of this like we understand what happened earlier on, but there was a really there was a microsexual, like a lot of a microsexual, we could call it revolution unhinging in the 2010s. A lot of shit that was not mainstream became mainstream. Same-sex marriage, a lot of shit that was not mainstream became mainstream. So what's normal now was probably not even normal like that. I mean, in mainstream normal in 2005. I know what you're talking about, pick 6. It don't matter. They sacked the shit out of them. They doing it. Shout out to Vernon King with the 1999 super sticker. I appreciate y'all coming through. Appreciate y'all coming through. But yeah, so you don't. So it's like, goddamn. So your mind is gonna default to what shit is now. That's where it's going to default. So we'll have this conversation as if that is the center conversation. Oh, well, it's, a woman, like, well, one thing, this is illustrated, and Lauren didn't necessarily, I don't know if she agreed with this or not, but basically Shannon brought it up and BGS agreed. They were talking about 50 niggas, 50 different dicks, 50 different dicks. As far as over 50 or under 50. And the question, and this is by Shannon. The question was, well, if you're a female with 50 different dicks in your sexual history, are you disqualified for marriage? And Shannon said no, because Shannon said, but what Shannon said, to be fair, is he was talking about you'll probably be regulated to Pookies and Ray Rays, like men that are not making the like 70, 80,000 a year and up men. Which I would argue. And then the argument was, well, if you got big titties and a fat ass, you could get over it. Yeah, but those are dudes, again, a lot of the dudes that tend to make the most money, or they have the higher sexual access. Big titties and fat asses is not going to move them because they can get that already. This is why I always say genetic currency and economic currency. Because if it's genetic currency, then you already getting enough females to where a chick looking good is not going to be, you don't have a poverty mentality on that. Even if you're a homosexual, if you're a high-end homosexual, meaning you can get bitches that look good, that got degrees and shit. You're not going to be as, and this is assuming you're just dealing with black women too. That's another thing. If you're dealing with dudes that their sexual access is expanded, and I'm going to get to that in a second, women depend on dudes only dealing with one market because you overvalue shit. So when we're talking about 50 dicks, yeah, Mr. Shane, I'll give you that. Yeah, they're trying to talk about 50 dicks. That's where the average is. And this is another thing I often ask females. So give me a number to where this chick is officially a hoe. Give me a number. Give me a number. You give me a number. Not I tell it to you and you disagree. You give me a number, because this is a way for me to, number one, this is not evasive. This is not evasive question. Or not evasive. This is not an invasive question. It's not a personal question. It's not about her. It's saying you give me a number that if I throw that number out, your first thought is gonna be, wow, she a hoe. You give it to me. And what you find is women will say shit like 12, 15. I found the numbers they're giving are really low. And I'm like, bitch, you know women has had more dicks than that. So, I mean, what are you talking about? You're making this argument. And women always, you notice they always want to think about it for a long time. When I ask that, like when I've asked that here, they act like the shit is like the third to last question on Who Wants to Win a Millionaire. Like, I need a lifeline. I'm like, it's not it's not a right or wrong answer. It's a temperature question. That's it. And they always act like, because what it is they want to ask what they want to give a politically correct answer. And I'm like, that's not the point. The point is to see where you are. Now, if you start lying, you start capping, it's going to be obvious. Because if you go too low, well, I'm be like, you already know most women are over that number now. You know that. Unless they've been, hell, you know, honestly, women that get married early, we're not even talking about them as far as them cheating. We're not even talking about that. Hold on. Did he make it? Yeah, he made it. All right. No, y'all got to score, though. So it's like 50. No, I get that, Shane. Shane is saying the really important thing is no bastards. Yeah, that is. And that's why you don't really hear us talk about body count like that. And the truth is, in the black community, in the gynocracy, they typically don't give a fuck about body count anyway, because the shit is so gynocentric in the first place. So it's something that doesn't even get brought up. Because you have, as BGS talks about, the concept of the fucking village wife and shit, where these women have been operating like village wives for the most part. Black women are technically more conservative than other women, but they respect their men less than other women. So you have a lot of these hoish tendencies that are really defiance in men. It's defiance in the concept of a man. You know, and that's where they really start going off the rails. And also, black men don't really enforce consequences on a lot of this shit either. They just go along with it because they have this divine view of vagina. That's really where black men start fucking up. Black men actually have a divine view of sexual access. That's really where this is why black men have such an aversion to tricking or doing anything other than, and they need the delusion. They need the delusion and the perception. They need the delusion and the perception that they're being chosen, because they need that concept of them being knighted. They need that. They need that. And that's really a mental thing with black men. Black men see sex as a way of proving their manhood in a way that other groups of men across the board do not. Other races of men see sex as a right. They have a right to sex from their women. Black men do not see that. Black men do not fundamentally believe that. That's that property shit that how other groups view their women. Black men, ADOS black men in particular, do not share that. They don't. They do not. That's an issue. So anyway, going back to the situation of bonding. Again, we were talking about 50 different dicks. I'm like, the fact that could be entered in a conversation when we're talking about marriage. Again, black women have every incentive for black men and not vet. For black men and not vet women. So women always have to create this aura of possibility, as Kevin always talks about. It's because it's possible. The reality is, you are a motherfucking fool. First of all, if a bitch wants to lying about her body count, automatically should disqualify her, because it tells you that she understands that that's something that's wrong, and she still did it. And see, the way Lauren was talking about it was really talking about it from if these women, if women, let's say a woman has a sex life, they go through a whole phase or whatever, and then they come out of that. Newsflash, you don't. This is the lie for the vast majority. Those are exceptions. Those are not rules. Most women, and see this notion this notion of this, see, they want this is this white woman shit where they want, oh, you're the white woman, you fucked all the niggers, and then you moved to another town, and now you got with a white dude, and you're living that life. First of all, that shit is not even happening like that used to anymore. And second of all, you have to be trained to be able to switch up like that for the most part. If you didn't have a father, here's the problem. If you don't have a healthy patriarchal respect for men in set in general, your ability to switch up like that is not there for the most part, because you don't have the anchor point. You have not been socialized or trained to basically say, okay, this is what a man's role is, this is what my role is, let me just play that role. Like, for instance, even though this is not the greatest example, Sierra was able to play that role. So she can play it, even though it still came out based on the social trends and social culture. Social trends and social culture, um, you know, because it allows her to get away with more. But she was able to switch up because she had a two-parent household. You can say what you want to about Kim Kardashian, she did too. When you see these women, with a vast majority of black women that don't have fathers, and when I say fathers, I mean in the fucking home, not around. Fathers that they had to submit to, because if he's not in the home, you ain't really got to submit to him like that. Or you ain't got a male figure you got to submit to. Your ability to kind of switch back up from oh, I had a whole face, it's not there. And I don't give a fuck about what's possible. It's possible for me to win $1 million tomorrow in the lottery. That's possible. That's bullshit. That's not even admissible in this conversation. So when people talk about, oh, you can't show me all these women that had, you got women now that are activated. Remember, in the black community, 80% of the divorces are activated by women. That's a fact. What do we also know? We also know, we're not even talking about the ones that cheat, which we know black women cheat pretty much on par with black men. We also know a lot of black women are absolutely saying they don't want to be married, and we also know factually the top reasons women divorce is not abuse, it's sex and money. No, I'm probably not doing a panel right now today because that's going to extend it, and it's other people on sex and money. We know this. We know this. So again, that's where the context matters. But when you have the conversation in the moment, this is why it seems like I'm long-winded. When you have the conversation in the moment, and then you can also look, speaking the same business, you can also look at the type of men these women are dealing with. So we can look at what the community is at large and understand that is bullshit. The stats say it's bullshit. The facts say it's bullshit. The observable world says it's bullshit. Fuck your bubble. Fuck the 3 or 4 that show girl. That's bullshit. And that's usually bullshit too. So this myth of women, of black women in particular, are just, they get 30 and they find religion. That is bullshit. Because there's a significant amount of women that become single mothers at 30. Because those are the bitches that were becoming single mothers. That's the same age range that were becoming single mothers in teenagers. So we put these things out here, and what it really is for the dumb niggas, for the goofy niggas, for the PJ Tucker niggas, for the niggas that are the Will Smith minded niggas, the niggas that don't know these little this hope or this little either the hope or this little the possibility, like Alan Roger Curry said, the possibility of sex. The possibility of an outcome. They use that to go fishing. That's why they want the overall environment to be a certain way, because it preserves the food source for the mating market. Women do this whether they're intentionally understanding that's what they're doing or if they don't. That is the intended outcome. So a lot you got goofy. And women know this is bullshit because they lie. When you will never hear a woman, oh my God, oh my God, oh shit. You will never hear a woman actively say that a nigga with 50 dicks is marriage material. I doubt you'll hear a woman say 30. What they'll do is they'll never give you the number. They always say shit like whole phases. And by the way, women don't even count everything. Women don't count. Let's say they had a train ran on them, which is what I consider 2 dudes. They don't count that as 2 different dicks. They don't count a train of 4 niggas as 4 different dicks in one session. They don't count all that. If they fuck 2 different niggas in the same day, they don't. That's all counts as 1 dick. They all but they do this on purpose because they understand how that shit sounds. If they really want to stand on it, they would stand on it. But they don't, because they understand wow. They understand at a certain level. They know that this doesn't look good. They know the men they want are not fucking with that. They know that. The niggas that they want. Like I said, shout out to KD for the cash apps he's been giving over the last couple of days. Much appreciated, KD. They know that. So this is where the aura of deception comes in. The aura of deception is required. It's kind of like, when they say the dark side of force have fucking descended upon us. That's necessary. That's necessary. Because if you put everything out there, then dudes are going to make decisions because logic doesn't dictate that. Either they're going to decide to be cucks and they're going to have to know they're cucks, and they're going to be reminded that they're cucks, which is why it matters if you know the dudes that have fucked with you, because that's one thing she was saying too. Oh, well, men care a lot more about if they know the dude. Yes, but they care if a bitch has a high body count because that speaks to her ability to be loyal. And Kendra has talked about this. And it ain't just Kendra. Shout out to Char Willie. I'm not saying women gotta be virgins, but if you start women gotta be virgins, that's not what I'm saying. But when you start moving in a realm of north of 30 different dudes, that there is an effect. And this feminist bullshit where women like to say, oh, there's no effect, we all know that's a lie. And going along with the lie really fucks up women in the long term. Because it's convincing. And Game Changer talked about this, and I didn't like this concept like this, but he has a point. It's just the way he applies it. I don't always like it. But, he says, women want other women to be fat, so you have no choice but to deal with fat. And it's interesting considering, kind of like Fantastic's argument of you have nowhere else you can really go. Men like to, and I think Fantastic Fantastic is one of these dudes where black women is what he wants. And Obsidian's like that. So I understand that. With him, it ain't a matter of they gonna be black. It's a matter of, are they red bone, yellow bone, black, and I get that. And so that's where that perspective is gonna come from. That's not how I see things. My shit is much more broader than that. Because again, we're 6% of a fucking population. We're 6% of a goddamn population. We're not in a situation where we're in fucking Nigeria and the only motherfuckers we can deal with is like little shit like, or not little shit, but shit like tribes. That's not how it is. So my point, and let me end that clip, is basically, if you're going to have this conversation, the most of the time when this conversation is had is the political part of the conversation, like the social environment, like where we are now, what's trending now is what's had and what's said. And it never is the concept of an imprint. And maybe they talked about it and I missed it. And they never have the concept of actually the ability to bond. Because you got to start putting women on the mud. Because one thing about these shows with Kevin is it is absolutely proven that if the situation is not toxic, these women will find a way to break this shit up. Like, and Kendra talked about this too. These women, it's like, if you ever see somebody that used to do crack, they have this thing where they move their lips. They move their lips to like a circular motion, and that's how they feeding for it. That's what women do with dick in their own way. You said they did talk about the imprint and bonding. Okay, then fine. But I'm reiterating it right now. It's not a legit. So fine. Like I said it was a good convo. But women, you got to start putting women like on the hook for that. Fuck that. So are you saying that you don't believe that bond? You believe, if you saying that you believe that bonding is a social construct and there is no scientific or chemical basis to that? Because if a woman says yes, then basically what you understand about that woman is that woman fundamentally, number one, does not understand her womanhood, which is sad, and she has accepted the propaganda over her own womanhood. Because women deep down know that's bullshit. Yes, no one. They always do that. And the thing is, even if I fuck with certain sisters, I'm not gonna let you do that. I'm not gonna let you do that. I'm not gonna let you play the I need to understand shit. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm saying, no, fuck that. I'm gonna give you some homework. You bitches that want to understand, and you niggas that want to understand, I'm gonna start giving y'all niggas homework. Okay, here's a video. Go look up Alexis Tyler and you get back to me. Fuck that shit. The unfairness is the social political environment on this topic. Women, that's that you want to do it too bullshit. It's not the shit was not established for men, because there's a lot of things that women have an advantage on. This fucking unfair. The bullshit about being fair or unfair is bullshit. Well, I want to have a conversation about why it's unfair. It doesn't matter, because if this shit is detrimental to your health, you got to first understand why the shit is in the first place before you understand about fairness and not fairness. What are you talking about? It's unfair that women get this much access into the workplace, but then expect to get a dude to carry their ass. If you got a 6-figure job, bitch, you need to be the breadwinner. Don't complain that you can't get a dude that makes more money because your looks can't write. I'm not even I'm talking in general. Your looks can't can't cash the checks that you trying to write. Your checks keep bouncing because you ain't got the looks to back it up. Yo, what the fuck? Hold on, why does it? Yo, man, they better not win with no fucking field goal, yo. Why does it seem like they so much further than what they are? But anyway, and then these women are complaining, and then it's like, oh, well, the society has failed these women. No, they haven't. No, the society hasn't. The women lied to them. The women lied to them and set them up. Not no, the society failed. The women lied to them. Not society, the women, the sisterhood. The sisterhood. But they never say that. They always try, and they don't even like to bring up the society. They just put it out there. So when people talk about unfairness, well, why is it unfair? First of all, do you even understand your own womanhood? See, and this is where it becomes crazy. Remember what I said at the beginning of the video. We want to talk about a woman's perspective, but you don't understand your own womanhood. If you don't understand the imprint, you don't understand your own womanhood. If you don't understand this bonding shit, you don't understand your own womanhood. So how can you bring a woman's perspective when you're lacking in understanding your own womanhood? I'm watching the Monday Night Football game, and I'm getting annoyed. It looks like we're about to lose over some bullshit. That's the thing that kills me. You don't understand, like, and I know that sounds bad that I'm saying that. I know it sounds like I'm throwing strike words, but my point is, we wouldn't have got past that. I want to talk about the unfairness. No, fuck that. Because if you don't understand, how can you talk about the unfairness when you talk about what you're trying to understand? You're skipping steps. because we need to fix this first. We need to understand. We need to be on the same page. We ain't gonna play the, well, I'm not trying to fight. I just don't, no. Because you can't really understand the unfair. You perceive it as unfair because you don't understand what bonding and imprint is. That's why you perceive it as unfair. And by the way, this is where folks become absolutely full of shit, because this is why a lot of the people, when they was wilding out on Glenda, this is where this concept of women can't consent comes from, or females can't consent. You notice that dudes never say that young males or males that are 13, 14, 15 can't really consent. They may logically say that, but they're not gonna, but they don't really believe that. If a man is, if a male is, let's say he's 13 years old and he's 5'10", and let's say he's 160, 70 pounds, and he has sex with a 23-year-old woman, a dude, their parents might get mad, but this is not going to have the same kind of overwhelming like anger. If somebody sees them, they're going to say the same shit that Glendon was saying. Oh, well, the women are going to be thinking it. Oh, well, you look at how he look. Blase, blase, blah. Blah. That's what they'll start saying. They may not verbalize that, but once they see him, they're going to say, it's not going to be this over. And I'm not saying that people couldn't have got mad. I'm just saying, this is where that comes from. The imprint. This is where that grooming shit comes from. See, people will say shit and they don't even understand the things behind the things as to why they're saying it, or they don't explain it. That's where the grooming comes from. This idea of you imprinting. Shout out to Ron Wills, who talked about a female is psychologically imprinted before they're mentally imprinted, aka Disney movies. These concepts. He actually did a talk on that where he charged $3, and it's one of my earliest things I bought on YouTube as far as YouTube stuff. When you could you can still do that. You could put talks out there and charge people for the talk. Man, this is bullshit. Damn, they got it. They got it. He almost missed that shit. It looked out. But anyway, good game. Got shout out to the black quarterback. But anyway, so this is where the disingenuous of the shit, and it's on, and the dude, and look, they, from what I heard, BGS is always gonna come with that fire. Shannon's demonstrated he'll come with that fire, but all it takes is one nigga that want to be on the female side for the sake of being on a woman's side, and not for the sake of the truth and really getting the understanding. Is they just gonna, like, I'm not gonna bring up names, but how much some motherfuckers are. Where they wanna just all of a sudden make it about, like, I hate these niggas that like to play the King Kong shit. Like, they want to talk about how they better than the next nigga. That's the only thing they know how to do. They wanna, oh, you niggas are this, you niggas are that. And I'm like, why are you here? Because I'm like, nigga, you're listening to us, not in reverse. But you're always talking about what a nigga ain't doing. Oh, y'all niggas are always crying about women and all. Like I'm like, nigga, if that's what you believe, why are you listening? But whatever. But anyway, like I was saying, and so when we play this, I just need to understand. No, fuck that. No, because if you need to understand, then I'm gonna fucking tell you what it is, and you either gonna agree or disagree. Not no, we're gonna have an endless conversation where nothing really gets said because you want to understand. Now, granted, you gotta understand on certain shows, like there's shows where they're designed to have a conversation to create a perception that something is actually being said. And at the end of the day, if they want to be an entertaining talk show for that purpose, I'm not mad at them. I'm not about to be out here and say you're wrong for doing that. I'm not going to say, you're wrong for doing that. You don't have a right to do that. But let's make no mistake. Don't try to pretend. What gets on my nerves with people that do that is they like to say, oh, I'm solution oriented. No, the fuck you're not. Because nobody's learning anything looking at your channel. Like when you have these talks, it makes good conversation that people get piggyback on and entertain. But motherfuckers are forgetting shit as fast as they got it, because that's not what the point is. Nobody's retaining anything because the point of it is not to be. It's not to be retained. It's to be. It's basically water cooler talk. It's not designed to give you like a higher understanding, a higher, it's not designed to give you perspective that you can take it in the real world. No, it's basically content marketing, which it's nothing wrong with that. And there's great content marketing out there, that gives you really good information. And I'm not going to say it doesn't do the purpose it's supposed to do, but ultimately it's a waste. If you're really here to try to get some deeper understanding, it's a waste of fucking time. So when people try to dodge these bullets, I'm not trying to talk about that. I'm trying to talk about how it's unfair. The fuck you talking about how it's unfair? That like what do you mean it's unfair? What are you talking about? Well, I'm just mad that the social environment basically says that men can basically be hoes and they can get married, but women can't. Well, first of all, that's a conversation you need to have with other women, because women like a man that is sexually virile, because that's their biology to want that. That's a conversation you need to have with women. That's not men imposing that on women. Those are choices that women are actively making. Women choose that. Just like when women play the bullshit, I don't want dudes. When they play the bullshit talking about I don't want dudes that got kids. But the problem is, this is where women are lying. You may not want dudes that have kids, but you're giving sexual access to dudes. Look, let's be clear here. If that dick works and the dude knows how to lay it down, these niggas are fucking. We see it, no matter how many kids that they have. So that's bullshit. So what men care about, which is sexual access, that's not a liability having kids. Now the problem is women get upset because women see, it ain't that black men are not fucking single mothers. Black men are saying they're not going to invest in single mothers. And that's what black men. Man, this shit ain't about to happen. Nigga, you gonna have to do a Hail Mary. This is where black women get mad, because dudes are like, automatically, I'm putting you in a certain spot where I'm not going to invest in you, and all of that trust and bullshit you depend on in order to get free accolades and hold the possibility of sex over. Niggas are not doing that. They like, either you coming with the pussy or bitch, you can be gone. Because you already got kids. You know what this is. Pump and dump rules are in effect. They don't want that. And that's what they're complaining. Oh, man. It ain't no way in hell this motherfucker's about to make this. Hold on. Ain't no way. He almost made it. That was a 65-yard attempt. If they would have got 5 more yards, he would have made it. That's a good game. Like I said, this is really this dude's first year. That was a good game. The fact that he came back and did what he did, I'm seeing it grow. But anyway, yeah. So, all right, now I can focus. So my thing is, you have this thing where women, that's really what women are complaining about. That the trust is not there. Their trust credit card is like declined when you have a kid for the niggas they want, because women don't really see them having a kid as a real impediment. They don't believe it should. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to terraform men's opinions. And see, where Grinch was absolutely correct on is dudes try to meet them halfway on that. Men should be uncompromising. And this is why me and Fantastic, like when Fantastic, like dating out ain't like the viable for most black men. It's not meant to be. Even though that's technically not true. I'm not here to provide a solution for every black man. I'm here to give you options, and you pick which ones work for you. You pick the cocktail of solutions and shit that works for you. That is what I am here to do. I am not here to fucking lead every nigga on the promised land. That's not what I'm here to do. Remember, 33% of black men are already married. So what are we talking about? We don't like the number, but But that's that. It's like, women want to have a body count argument. And at the end of the day, dudes are gonna shoot the shit with you and talk. But at the end of the day, in the real world, dudes are not playing with y'all like that. They're not. And y'all think y'all could get on YouTube and people just gonna tell y'all what y'all want to hear. You're getting into the part of the space. Now you get where the blue pill world is starting to meet kind of like the black manosphere. And unfortunately, you're seeing a lot of rose shit mix because it's starting to mix and it's mixing a little bit more for some people's taste. But ultimately, where I trust in, this is what I have faith in. The environment is shifting so bad that black men and black women that basically, and white people, whatever, anybody that chooses to fall in a delusion, as Glendon says, you're going to be globally reset, or you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to get finessed where you may not be able to recover. You're not going to recover. If you get finessed in this environment, it is much more likely that you won't recover than it's been in the past. And that's what people are not really understanding. So a lot of dudes, and then you're dealing with an environment where dudes don't necessarily have to commit like that, because that's the environment that the women set up. I know I spend a lot on that part. As far as the viability of dating out in mass, here's the thing with that. Like I said, black male adults are like 12 million. If you take out 8 of those black men, you're dealing with 10 million black male adults. Out of that 10 million black male adults, all of us are not employed. 33, like about 30, you could say about 25% of those people are already married at this point. That's 2.5 million right there. Then you're talking about, if you look at dudes that make north of 50,000, if you say that's 25%, that's 2.5 million right there. So you're really talking about 2.5 million black men. Then if you start, let's say we're not talking about economically and we're just talking about genetic currency, then you're talking about 10%. You talk about what, 20%, 25% of black men, you can argue at like 5, 10 and up. If you just look at that. So you're not dealing. So when you look at black men, like economically and certain things that are viable, depending on what women want, you don't have to get everybody. You don't. And the reality is, if you look at the supply, the pussy supply is high. And then you look at the fact that if you look at what black men are willing to deal with in the black community and just export that to what black men might deal with, hell, you got enough black men, you got enough Latin females on their own. Real talk. Not even adding other races. I haven't dropped the link, J-Line. I don't know if I'm going to. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. What I will do, because I know some of y'all want to come up and some of y'all want people to come up, I'm going to drop the link, have a quick conversation. It'll probably be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and that's it. And I got my stopwatch, my computer, handy dandy computer stopwatch, because I'm not playing. And if y'all want to pop up, y'all can. Yeah, Glenn and Cameron talked about similar shit like that. You got to be able to sexually format a woman, but at the end of the day, it depends on what you want. If you're just looking for sexual access, then that's not necessarily required. If you're looking for a woman that you need to commit to, then yeah, Cousin T-Taw is probably more correct. But see, the problem is black men don't separate sexual access from, a woman that they need to be on their program. I think most black folks came from Africa. Do I believe there's Indian blood in black people? Of course. Yeah. That's yeah. But do I think that black people were really lied to and we're really closet Indians? I think the Cherokee, there are dark-skinned Indian tribes, but I think black people take that way too far. They take that as a way of them basically not dealing with the slavery narrative, which is, to me, that's a coping mechanism. But whatever. What's up, Lion?
Oh, what's up? Yeah, man. I think I was hearing you on that Bernard Rally show with Jordan Peterson thing. I was like, I
Oh
agree
yeah,
with your talk.
I ain't even touch on that. Yeah, go ahead, man.
But yeah, I agree with your talking points and stuff like that. And yeah, and yeah, and I think what Pablo was saying, like, the guy, it seemed like to me he didn't really he didn't really talk about like culture. Like he was just talking about like, oh, we do this, you can be an individual on these individualistic we make these changes and all this type of stuff, but we're talking about on a bigger scale, like, we're talking about like the culture itself. So it's not what you do is not going to like change the whole culture. So it's a system. So and I think that yeah, and I think even with the whole Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, so it's not even about money or like, oh, if I do this and I make my stuff like that, and if I do that, yeah. So and I think that he didn't have to do it. He was making this thing like it was like he's breaking it down, isolating it to like to a few individuals and stuff like that. So it's the software is dysfunctional.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, and I don't know if I mean are you talking about Pablo or you talking about Fat? I'm not sure, but like but the thing
I was
about it
talking
is
about
with,
Jordan Peters.
oh, you talk about what Pablo said about Jordan Peterson. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure, okay. So the thing about he was trying to make an individual argument because that allows him to carry on a conversation, and Aviz wants that conversation because that is in the narrative of his platform. And the thing is, Jordan Peterson gives his platform credibility. Shout out to Aviz. I got respect for people that actually do the pounding of the pavement to get interviewed, to get high class interviews. I've been told he does that work. I know Fresh CEO does that for Fresh and Fit, and that has value because everybody doesn't have the fortitude to really go and get those interviews like that because that requires you standing in certain places, being in certain places. So I'll give him credit on that. Your 92980's brothers, I'll give him credit. I'll give him credit on that. But the thing about it is Haviz's shit is really not to solve a problem. And Habib's shit is really not African American centric anyway. It's not. It's just we want black people, and I fall in this too to a certain extent. We want to see excellence, so we'll accept. Okay, this will work for now, and not. And we don't have a good mentality on people being placeholders and stopgaps like other groups. Other groups allow certain people to be a stopgap until they can get somebody on their own to do it, and then they do that. We don't do that. We tend to let people remain being stopgaps. That was true for DJ Academics. That was true for World Star. Like World Star should have been bought by African American. Like 50 Cent or somebody should have bought that. Straight up. If for nothing else to control, and that's where and black men got to start doing better at that. Like we got to start controlling what's in our sphere, and looking to do that. And it's not personal; it's business. We make everything so personal because that's how the bitches view shit, and we've taught to look at the world through the eyes of the bitches. So as far as that, Jordan Peterson was talking from a white man's perspective, on a global perspective, a Western world perspective. That's what
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
Western
about.
world, yeah, perspective, and like and I think that's what was like the problem, and sometimes when you in some of these spaces, a lot of these people just they don't have the lacking they're lacking critical thinking skills, like like I mentioned before, like you BGS, they're and basically that's the problem, like they don't really examine like the problem, they just find like little individual issues and stuff like that and pointing out, but they're not really looking at the
Because
full
that's not
picture.
what their goal. That's not what their goal is. Their goal is to create a media platform so they can make money, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
if they have a conversation that is valuable, I'm not gonna say they're just not looking to have a conversation at all. What I'm saying is, where are the priorities? If it's going to be a choice between growing a platform and telling it like it is, they're going to choose to grow the platform because the mentality is they could, and I'll say this. I've thought about this. The mentality is if you grow the platform and the bigger the platform, then you can always switch up and give the real shit once you're established. The problem is black men never do that. Black men start to fall in love with what made their platform grow and always stick to that. That's where so that's like that's a trick, and that's a trick that people play on themselves. So and then you have to understand that unfortunately Haziz is not African American, so he does not have the experience, so he doesn't understand. These niggas that are not ADOs do not get it. Not really. Some of them do, but most of them do not, because you got to grow up in these fucking households to really understand what the fuck to really understand what the fuck we're talking about. It's one thing to talk about what bitches are doing from a sexual standpoint as somebody you're trying to have sex with. It's another thing for you to grow up in these households to understand the family dynamics of what we're talking about. And if you grow up in a household where it's patriarchal, you don't really have the capability of really understanding like the microscopic social nuances of what you won't really feel it like the way you need to, be in tune with it. You can empathize with it, but you just won't. Just like how I can understand whiteness in America. I can maybe imagine it, but I'm not never going to be in tune with it like a white person will, regardless of class. And same thing with a white person and being in tune with a black person. Because maybe the closest thing they get to it is being discriminated against on class, but that's still not the same thing. It's still not. So it's not about me writing anybody off, because that's how it's always done, because a lot of people use it that way. But it's me telling you, and I say that because his platform is not built around that idea. His platform is not for just black people. His platform is for all people. That's why it grew the way it grew. Just like, and shout out the Poor Man Podcast, who is Kenyan. I shout him out all the time. But his platform is not African American. His platform is pretty much a kind of manosphere general thing, and then he grew the channel with it. And he does. I think he does very well with it. I think Haziz could learn a lot from him as far as how he approaches the content and being true to the content, but still growing the platform. I think Poor Man's Pie, and I've looked at a lot of his videos across all of the stages of his growth. And and he's been consistent, and if you're gonna be mainstream, I would say he's a good model for what that is, to still kind of keep it true to the message we need to communicate. Mediocre Tutorial and Views, I think, does the same thing. Chiza Zed does the same thing too.
Yeah, you're right. And I think even in this space, I still haven't seen nobody as much as analytical as you, BGS, or Dr. T. Hansen, or something like that. And obviously, I haven't seen nobody that analytical in this stuff in the space.
Yeah.
So, and I think that
Black Ram just doesn't talk as much. I mean, the reason why we come off as analytical is because we're Ibmores. So Ibmore stands for Introspective Black Men of Reform. Ibmore actually has its own tenets and stuff, and people don't talk about it as much, but that's the introspective part that you're seeing. And there's a couple of Ibmores. There used to be Knight Templar out there, and he had like 30,000 subs before he actually pulled all his stuff to Patreon. So that's why you see it that way, because that's what that is. Yeah, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, and I think too, there's just a lot of ignorancy and stuff, and especially in the black community and stuff. So, and I think that and I think that that's the problem. Is like they don't really people just do a lot of name calling and don't really critique the argument and stuff like that. And I think that and it's just a lot of false information. So I saw some people in the comments and were saying that so some people that black people believe that, oh well, I'm not black, I'm an Indian or something like that,
Yeah, well,
you know.
there's been people. I mean, that's like a completely different conversation, because that's like its own little micro sector. And shout out to O'Shea. I think O'Shea does a good job threading the needle as well. O'Shea makes videos that kind of annoy me sometimes, but when you understand what the purpose of it is for, I mean, there's people I know that they make $50,000 a year, or $50,000 a month, or they've achieved that with his subscriber count. It just when you look at how he's doing shit, like people talk about celebrities and stuff, but at the end of the day, that's where black people are. It's like would you rather him have like his platform is overwhelmingly black male. So I mean, there's gonna be cost to that. You have to do the videos that pays the bills. But if you're on his Patreon and you look at his Hall of Game, I mean, he gives it to you. I mean, so I get it, sole provider, but the thing about it is, you know, you got to do. I mean, shit, people are not here to do shit for free. If you want the shit long term, sometimes you got to do the shit that sustains the platform. So it's better to do the celebrity videos. You know, the people that want to watch them are gonna watch them, and that makes it so people don't really got a super chat and cash app like that. That's how I think about it, because he can get paid off the views. So that's better than people constantly leaning on people to cash. I mean, I appreciate what y'all give me, but you know, that's better than motherfuckers talk about, oh man, you bitches for not donating and da da. No, that's bullshit. So no, and I'm not saying you're wrong, because I'm just saying it's a perspective. And here's the thing. It's good for you to bring it. I'm not saying you're incorrect for bringing it up, because people need to bring it up. If you don't bring it up, then that's how people start doing the most with it, which is why I'm telling y'all to check out that video Grinch did, the last one that I shared. So you questioning is not bad. And that's the thing in our space. We have people in our space that question us. Them bitches don't got and them don't over there ain't being questioned like that. Like I'm talking about like the real bitches, like Cynthia G and them. Any pensive, what's up?
Yo, what's up, man?
What's on your mind?
Now I was thinking about the T-Tall thing where we talk about the body game. Um, I think it's real interesting because it's not just T-Tall. I mean, just in general, there's a lot of like attention, I guess, between the kind of like the self improvement and then the people like talking about kind of how they call it, the complaining about women thing, and that they're always gonna get positioned as diametrically opposed. But I think that it's two different things to a certain extent.
It is,
Like I mean,
which
you
is
can
why it
like
annoys me.
I mean, it frustrates me too because I feel the pull, and I think they kind of make the argument sometimes that these dudes are complaining about women because they can't get them, but I mean it's bigger than that. I think it's they're complaining because they realize the landscape is messed up. That even if you do get successful, like I mean you're one person, and I mean you still have to deal with what's really out there too.
Here's the bullshit. Here's the bullshit. It's like, let's say I'm a millionaire and I come from poverty. So for that reason, I understand the dynamics of poverty with black people. So I overall want to, help black people as far as poverty, whether it's teaching people about finance and business stuff. And then somebody coming to me saying two things. On the one side, it's a damn if you don't do, a damn if you don't argument. On the one side, you got money. So what are you complaining about? Especially if you talk about like the economic racism and shit like that. Not saying that's the only reason, because goddamn, it's a lot of shit black people do on our own. But if you people try to say you got money, so why are you complaining? Or they'll try to say if you don't have money, you're only complaining because you're poor. Like that's that damn if you do, damn if you don't bullshit. That's an interference running argument, and it's designed to run interference, and it's quite frankly a betrayal of that's black men betraying each other when they do that. Now if people are talking out they ass, like I'll give you an example. O'Shea did a video of a guy that was in the DMs of some bitch, and basically he was asking her all these fucking questions. Are you this? Are you that? Are you a single mom? Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, if you're gonna ask something, you should have asked single mom shit first, and then you would have knew, and then everything would have been it. But this idea, but she ended up blocking him. But the way he was going about it was goofy. It was kind of like when fucking what's it called for Fresh and Fit was talking about being I'm a high value man. Tactically, you could say nigga that's goofy, because you could have a tactical critique of how he went about doing it. However, what these dudes do is they play this game. What they're essentially saying is there's nothing wrong with the community. The problem's you. And this is why a lot of times, like for instance, I wasn't gonna bring him up, but like Sir Ism. Sir Ism always approaches the shit like a fucking cartoon character. Like and a lot of these dudes, either they'll do it that way or they'll approach it from a magical standpoint, meaning they're not really present. And they're doing that on purpose because their intended job is to run interference. Well, if you could stand on the shit you talking about, then you would be able to have an actual conversation. But they can't do that. So they want, and they also want to, they get a lot of these dudes get off on trying to say they're better than other black men. They get off on that, you know. And so they look for places where they think they can do that. Like, you see, Boogie was like that. And that's what me and C Boogie never really got along, because he comes at it from a space of, nigga, I'm better than you. And fundamentally, I don't feel, I know it is weak when you have to be competitive is to be a man, but to try to King Kong and macho your way all the time, and you got to show you better than somebody all the time, nigga, that's you. That's basically compensating for something. You're not gonna tell me it's not. You're
Yeah,
not gonna.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's insecurities, man. When people start talking that, and it just, and to me, it's just, it's just really just not. It's just really dumb. It's like it really besides the point. And I think that it's not about like if you can get women or not. It's about like the quality of the woman, and basically getting a woman and getting something like that. Um, First place, people wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't a problem. First place, it's a crisis. So if you look at the marriage rate and you see, well, all you gotta do is just look at the data and just see that the culture is hella dysfunctional. And if you don't see it for what it is, you know what I'm saying? So let's cut through the bullshit, and no, the culture, it is what it is. Let's see it for what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? So life is too short to be
Yeah, and it's
doing
like, if
all
you
this
don't,
bullshit. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
if you don't want to solve the problem, it's cool, because I'm doing me regardless. Like, I'm doing me regardless. This is not. I mean, I'm gonna get back to the cousin T-Talk thing in the body game, but I already have, like, the people I listen to, the shit that I deal with people that are A, taking action, B, they're putting themselves in their own enclosed situation. So my shit is gonna be good. So this is me, putting my information out there, and people can pick it up or not. I don't give a shit, because I'm gonna be good regardless, because I know what I'm going to do. So if people want to play this game where they want to run interference and fuck with other people, I get annoyed. It's one thing to do that for yourself. It's another thing to do that and you trying to pollute the conversation. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yep,
yeah. Now, as far as cousin T-Taw with the body game, nobody disagrees with the body game. I said it on Bernard Riley's thing. I said, yo, if you want to date, if you're saying the black women are who you want to date, well, then the gym is the first place you need to go. Fuck, stop trying to, like, yeah, make your money, but you're an idiot to not go in the gym. You're an idiot to not do that. Like in fact, I would argue, and I'm not saying you got to be muscled out, because here's the thing: if we know what black women like, if they like that tall, linky basketball frame. I'm talking about overall. They like that tall, linky basketball frame. They like that. They if you want to wear a thug's uniform, as far as tattoos and all of that. You know, if you want to, or if you want to look like a football player, so you want to lift weights, because the body game shit works. But we all know, if you look like a thuggo, you ain't necessarily got to be built like that. Lil Wayne, Ti, to a certain extent. I mean, we know this. So it depends on what look at the archetypes that black women like, and then you basically fit those archetypes if that's what you want. Now, where the struggle comes in is a lot of dudes are not culturally compatible with that, because
yep,
a community is not supposed to be built around its fucking lowest common denominator. And this is why people often say that you never rise higher than your women as far as the morality. That's why they say that. So your common denominator is not. But see, this is really an outtake off the crack era. That's when the switch happened. Where and see, people like to say it coincided with dark skin. It kind of did, but it has nothing to do with that. Like, where it became about dreads, it became about tattoos, and you're seeing the first generation grow up out of that. Out of the crack era. I was born in 86. I'm 35. I just turned 35. Children of the crack era. And now you're seeing what that actually looks like. If you look at before, there was still fuck shit, but it wasn't like that. And so now the women are at a race to the bottom, because it's intersectionality, feminism, all this other bullshit, and it's defiance in black men, to the point where they're just spinning out of control. And then now you got men that are following women to the race to the bottom, because they have sexual imperatives to do so. This is why black men could be. Here's the thing: you could be a black man. I'm gonna ask y'all this, and I'm gonna ask y'all this in the chat. Who you think is a better man? A dude, who Who do you think most black people think is a better man? Will Smith or Tupac? Black men. Who you think most black men would vote for is who's the better man?
Tupac.
No, it's definitely Tupac.
Okay. What y'all say in the chat? And that's the
It's
problem. That's the problem with the black community in a nutshell.
especially now that all the stuff with Will and Jada. Like maybe before you could make an argument for Will, but no, there's no
But
way
here's the
Will
thing,
wins that
Tupac
now.
wasn't even Tupac. Did you see that interview where he was talking when he was out of the not ballet academy, but the art academy? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like Tupac wasn't even Tupac. And remember,
Yeah,
Tupac died at 25 years old. And I'm not saying this is not about me telling y'all wrong. I'm just saying, y'all, I do think you're correct. Most black men, I fuck the women. Most black men, I'm talking about before the Jada situation. Most black men would say Tupac is the better man, even though Tupac was caught up on sex charges. Tupac, got shot people. Think about it. All these niggas going over the river and through the woods, knowing Tupac's history. And
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, and Tupac, and the story I heard from him about Tupac, when the first group that he was with. What was the first group he was with?
I for something underground,
Digital
digital underground.
Digital Underground, and basically, they what you call it, the guy that wear the fake nose and stuff. No, it was saying about him. He said that he wasn't like that. At first, he said he started seeing the girls started flocking around these, dudes wearing the gold chains and more of the, the street type of dude.
Yeah, Tupac
Then he
played it.
took on
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
exactly. He took on a persona, and he eventually became it on some. And because he died for it, so I'm not gonna disrespect the fact he died on it.
yeah.
I'm definitely, but that wasn't who he inherently was. Tupac is the literally preliminary dude that ended up playing that role, ended up becoming that role. And the problem
Hmm.
is, you have dudes that's not who they are. And this is what I was trying to tell Fantastic. This is why I've said about Clutch. It's cultural compatibility. Now, this is why I
Hmm.
say when you date out to figure out, is it really that you're a loser, or is it that you're not culturally compatible with sisters? Glendon, and I know your people feel some type of way about him, but in this sense, Glendon don't date black women because he said he's not culturally compatible with them, because he needs somebody that had a two-parent household. Now, black women don't like to hear that, but that's what he said he came out of. The point is, that's an example of somebody you could argue, like, if you, because nobody want to talk about Glennon like that before the video he put out. So if you look at before that, what he's done and shown, and this is a dude that was homeless. This dude that was out of outhouse. This dude's 55, so it's not like he was born in the internet, right? My point is, when you look at what most black, and I say most black, not of certain generations, the fact that they look at Tupac and say he's the better man is exactly that's the men. So what are you going to think the women are? And then the problem is, they will get with who they perceive as the better man, but then complain about the outcomes. Complain like Angela Simmons getting with the nigga she got, and then he died, and all this other shit. So everything becomes, we're supposed to cater to something that's fundamentally fucked up and reversed in the goddamn first place. You see what I'm saying? And no other group operates that way, and we know that, yet we still say it. Now, going back to the body game again, if you're looking at how do I get sexual access from black women, then yeah, going to the gym is something you should do. But this idea that every nigga needs to be in the gym and be cock diesel, I want you to. I'm gonna tell you how. I'm gonna slow it down. And I want you to understand
It's ridiculous.
how ridiculous what I'm about to say. Yeah, you know where I'm going. I want you to understand this, that at the individual level, Cousin Tita is right, and his job is not to talk about the group. That's not what he does. You know, so he's cool. But I want you to understand how ridiculous it is for like people to talk about self-improvement, because they're talking about body game, because a lot of times that's what it comes up. See, Boogie used to do that body game, the lust factor, all that bullshit. Number one, that doesn't exist in any other grade. You can't show me, including in the black diaspora, that does not exist. You cannot show me that, where the majority of men are operating at that level. But I want
Yeah,
you
yeah,
to
yep.
hold on. I want you to understand how ridiculous it is. So you were saying that The majority of black men need to be cock diesel, muscled out to the point where they can activate a basically panty dropping level lust on your counterpart that are 80% overweight and 50% obese.
Well,
And hold on. And if
mhm.
you say, oh, well, that's just the white man's meter, you ask these women, is it bad if a woman weighs more than a man if they are of at least the same height?
Mm.
Like they say no.
Um,
Really marinate on what I just said.
yep, yep, and
That's
I
that
don't turn
Lizzo.
this.
Hold on, that's that Lizzo shit. And you got niggas actively saying that in different ways on the group conversation, which is why they always angle it back to the fucking individual. Cause I'm like, yo, the individual arguments are easy. Take your temperature, get the issue. Is it you? Is it just black women don't like you? If it's just black women don't like you, do you want to deal with them or do you not? And if you do, you don't even got to deal with Ado's black women. Like, you can troubleshoot that. That's not what we're here to do. And see, a lot of this is they want to sit here and say, well, black men just need to be these super niggas so black women will just fall in line. That's a fallacy too. And they know that's a fallacy because that's where it always goes. Well, if black men build and do all this shit, then black women just move in and rest in their femininity. No, they're not. They're going to try to take control because I've heard a lot of them say it. But go ahead.
Yeah, I've turned into BGS. I would say, well, something what he was saying. We was saying that comes from a matriarch mindset. Like then, like C Boogie. Basically, he wants you turn yourself into a cockabine, a black male cockabine, black buck, and be a damn sperm donor and stuff like that. That's basically what uh you know um what you're doing. So that's what it that's what it sounds to me. And like you said, you know that's the problem. And I think that and like the whole Tupac thing is that the culture that culture that created Tupac, that culture has became mainstream, and and that's the problem.
Well, even the Tupac culture, because Tupac wasn't even the first person to really usher it in. And shout out to my bad Infinity for the $5 super sticker. Shout out to Wayman Brown. They love the prodigal son archetype. You must be a screw up who turns his life around, then sells t-shirts and mixtape. Being upright is not sexy to her. No, absolutely. And the problem is they can want that, but then you turn around and then want security. You think you're owed security. You have a right to pursue both, but if you don't get both, society didn't fail you. You took a path that led you to your situation. And this is fundamentally like women want to play stupid. Like Lauren is a very intelligent woman. Like one thing I don't allow is I don't like dumb females. So I don't allow. So when I know you're not dumb, you're not gonna play this. I want to be feminine to be stupid. No, 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 no. Not when we're talking. Not when shit real shit is being discussed. You're not gonna push some bullshit argument under the guise of I'm a woman and I'm stupid. Because women like to. That's them using that possibility of sex in a woman's mind, in a man's mind. Like, oh man, I don't want to piss her off because maybe somehow, some way, I might have sex. I'm like, motherfucker, this is YouTube. I'm talking on the internet. I'm not planning on seeing none of y'all. That includes the bitches. I'm not trying to marry you motherfuckers. Fuck you motherfuckers. I don't care how good you look. Because I'm the type of person where I gotta see people face to face. That's just how I am. So I don't be in motherfuckers' DMs. If I'm in your DMs, it's because I'm trying to conduct business. That's and you ain't gonna find no screenshots of me trying to holler at chicks. Because if I try to holler at somebody, it's gonna be to their face. Because ain't nobody gonna have no shit on me talking about, yeah, you were trying to holler. No, you gonna have to record me in person or some shit like that. Because that's just how I've always been. And I get it because younger people are gonna see it differently because they grew up in the internet. So I get that. I'm just saying how I am. But there's nothing wrong with every like dudes need to work out and lift weights for other things. Like man, like here's the thing. I'm not shout out to Steph Cole. There's another dude out there too that I look at, and he's a white dude. He talks about high performance training a lot, hit training. and he's got a really strong following. I hate to promote people that are not I don't want to say not ADOS or not, but like just to show you. Oh yeah, I need to smoking and grilling with AB. I need to start
If I
promoting.
can,
Yeah,
uh,
jump in while I'm bringing this up. Yeah,
now going back to what the other brother was about, like he said, like
it's
basically,
called Then
like
X. Then X.
how is it? What is it?
No, this channel I'm talking about is called Then X.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay,
go ahead and
okay.
say that, and I'm gonna pull it up while you. Yeah.
Now, what are you saying about like basically concubine? I'm like not even basically because like T-Tall like I mean is like a like was kind of in like male entertainment, like kind of stripping and stuff. So I mean, it's not even like basic. I mean, pretty much that is at least that's his perspective on it. And that kind of stuff. I mean, it does permeate into that kind of whole sphere of things. And I'm bringing them up because I like them, but it's I mean that is
Yeah,
what
I
it
like Cousin
is.
T Taw as
Mm.
well.
And then, but I mean, the reality of it is like, okay, they can lust you. That doesn't mean they respect you though. Um, and that's a really fine line. So like, even look at some of those videos, they'll talk about how like there's how they call it the Office F file, right? Like those kind of things where you get really, really sexualized. I mean, that can happen at a really young age too. That's not healthy kind of like stuff going on.
It's not, and this
Um,
is and
No, it's
T
not.
Taw.
It's
Yeah,
not
T
healthy.
Taw is honest about that. That's why I like T Taw. A lot of these motherfuckers are not honest about that. They're not. They lie. This is what I'm talking about. And this is not the only thing I follow, but because, I work from home. And so this goes into like what I do a lot, high performance training, because you can do a lot with a little bit of time. So my point is, I'm not saying, and I got the gorilla bow and shit, which I could actually type that in too. Gorilla bow, which if you're somebody you're trying to kind of get started and shit, like this is actually something I own, this is so I'm not the person that needs to be really talking about this shit, but okay, yeah, y'all can see this. Ugh, yeah, I know y'all be like, this is one of my off accounts. Come on, come on. I want y'all to see the actual bow real quick. What the fuck? Ugh. This is what happens when you have multiple YouTube accounts. I didn't, yeah. So basically, it's a gorilla bow it's a bow that allows you to do a lot of different exercises, and then the bands are like different weights. So you can do actually a lot of stuff with this shit. Like a lot of stuff with it, different sizes and everything. There's a travel one, you know. Yeah, it's a lot of shit you can actually do with this. And this is if you are too cheap to buy like a P90X or something like that, or buy like the dumbbell ones at like $500. This is something you can really jump into. And I'm so see how you doing the squats. Some of those bands can go up to like 200 pounds. So anyway, my point is, it's not that I don't have things that I can honestly say, but I leave that to kind of other people to put that out there. But yeah, you should be. I mean, and here's another thing that people don't talk about. People don't talk like, honestly, if you look at some of these like these porn stars, like black male porn stars, you would think they would sell like an info product. Somebody would get involved with them to sell an info product on sexual, like how to, get their sexual game going. People don't. You're not gonna really hear that talked about on YouTube. But the reality is, there's conversations where you can kind of have conversations like our conversation, or like our channel can filter that down into people that may want to buy that product. And because, that's like anything that can be worked on, that can be practiced, like PC muscle stuff and a lot of stuff. So my point is, I'm not saying you shouldn't work on that stuff. You shouldn't improve that stuff. But see, people want to put that saying, well, if you just do that, everything else will fix itself and fall into place. So it's really a way of saying the women are doing what they're doing because the men are just so weak. No, the women are doing what they're doing because they're allowed to do it. Point blank, period. Can y'all hear me?
No, we
Yep.
got you. And
Oh,
then
okay, yeah, point blank,
Exactly.
period.
mm.
Yeah, like so this and so when you have niggas that they want to be gynocentric soldiers and run interference, it's just like when dudes talk about child support and then they want to say you need to step up and be a man, but at the same time, it's like you fuck the bitch. So they are not to be accountable for anything. because these are not the same. These niggas are not equal. They're not like Jason Black where they're equal opportunity offenders. No, they only show up in our space with that bullshit. Like a bitch can be talking about aborting black male babies, and these would be the niggas. Oh, that bitch is talking stupid. You know these bitches are crazy. I'm like, nigga, are you serious? And then don't understand how that leads to black women killing black boys and black girls. You know, they just won't touch that. And it's like, nigga, why are you even here? Why are you even here? And then these niggas always talk about self improvement. They always so braggadocious. Like, I hate braggadocious niggas. I really do. Especially niggas that ain't really proving the shit they talking. That is a pet peeve of mine. It's like, nigga, you don't even have a channel talking about self improvement. At least Fresh and Fit, at least Myron has a channel about lifting weights. As much of an asshole as he is, at least Fresh CEO could show he's actually applying the internet marketing stuff, that whether you agree with how he's going about doing it or not, and they can show results. They're not even that braggadocious as some of these niggas on this space. Some of these niggas are so fucking braggadocious. And it's like you need this space in order to try to act like you better than somebody, because you need to be better than somebody. And that's another part of that Luciferian complex and that Highlander syndrome. That's a part of that hyper masculinity bullshit, that extra macho shit.
Yep.
So, whew.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, y'all, but yeah. So when it comes to the micro shit, the point is that shit is already out there. Nobody, I don't, my panel, my subscribers are not these niggas that can't get bitches. I tell you, I've said on my channel multiple times, black women don't gotta pick you for no goddamn reason. They have a right to pick who they want to pick for what the fuck they want to pick up. The thing that I come in on is you all don't have a right to push out propaganda about all black men because you mad at the niggas you picking. Because those are the niggas you picking. Then what did I say? What did I say about PJ Tucker? Did you hear me talk a lot of shit about Brittany Renner? No.
And
I
the
said
worst thing you said about her is that she wasn't that cute, really.
I said Brittany Renner. I said Brittany Renner is like overrated. Like niggas will die, will slit their wrist for her ass. And I don't think she that fine. I think a lot of that is thirst. Like you can go to DR and find a bitch that looks like her, like straight up. And I'm not necessarily saying pay $40 for that, but I'm saying if you've been overseas, like once you be overseas, and the point is like in Philippines and stuff, beautiful women, like niggas be really walking around here like beautiful women are rare. They're rare because nigga, you in your own fucking county. And you don't even explore your county like that. Niggas ain't never been nowhere. So they see a light-skinned bitch. It's like I don't even be doing the red bone, yellow bone shit. These are, yeah, red bone, yellow bone. Because it's rare to them. That shit's not rare to me. That's it, and that shit's not rare. It really isn't. You know? I've dated, like seriously. And see, I don't want, because see, you start pulling pictures of shit up, then nigga, or you know, receipts, then niggas really get mad. So I just say, whatever, you think the way what you want to think. But niggas, yeah, man, if Brittany Renner was right in front of me, hey, somebody might fuck. But I'm not about to sit there. But y'all niggas be on there, I'm a nut in her and give her a baby because I'm going to create soul ties. This is how some of y'all niggas are. And I ain't necessarily talking on my channel, but you got niggas that they are, it's like you ain't never seen a good looking bitch in real life before.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, man.
Like these niggas, like these would be the main niggas. Yeah, I don't give a fuck she married. I don't give a fuck she got a boyfriend. I'm fucking anyway. It's because a lot of these niggas are, I'm not saying that's always the case. Like with ARC, that's not the case. With Ron Wills, that's not the case. But a lot of these niggas be willing to fuck. They be willing to cheat like they are because, or you know what? Let me say this. No, fuck that. I'm gonna do one better. A lot of these niggas are willing to be in a friend zone. They don't even they allow a bitch to waste their time emotionally cheating. They don't even get the pussy. They allow the bitch to emotionally cheat on their husband with them. Basically being on the phone, being a fucking, what they call it, a douchebag for that bitch emotions. And then they will stay in that shit and stay around, Boyce Watkins, waiting for to pick up that shit. Even though technically this woman, you might get an exception to this rule, Nicole Murphy. They got a photo posted Nicole Murphy. Oh, look at Nicole Murphy. Oh my God, she's so happy. Wait a minute, 55. Okay, you might, yeah, somebody might still be fucking. But like if you like, unless you like 50 or 60, If you like 40, talk about, yeah, man, I'm gonna get with her for the rest of the year. You're an idiot. Because at the end of the day, there's other women that look good like that. The only niggas will get with a bitch on status. And that's why these same chicks be always going after younger dudes because the older dudes be aging out of that. Jason Black was right. They need the younger guys. And see, that's why they really don't like what the fuck we saying, because a lot of these guys see the shit on their own, and the ones that don't, they start finding out what the fuck we saying. And then here's the thing. It ain't that they don't fuck with the females, but they don't be falling in love with these bitches. They be using these bitches for extension of sexual access. Shout out to Keisha Cole and that young dude she was with that left her ass and moved on. That's what they don't like. When these young dudes be getting what they need to get. It's like the military. When you go to the military in order, you got the military don't like dudes. As much as the military tries to recruit motherfuckers on all this shit they'll do for you, they really don't like motherfuckers that have an agenda for how they gonna use the military. They try to give you these incentives to stay in the military long term. This is why they like motherfuckers that spend money on cars. They like the dudes that are big spenders because they get addicted to the easy money and that consistent check. That's what they do. They don't like people to say, I'm going to this motherfucker to go to college, get that shit paid for, to set myself up so I can get a house. They don't really like people like that. SPI talked about that. So when you leave, they don't really make it easy for you to know where your shit is. You got to kind of know how to go about getting it. You know, I'm not saying they make it real hard, but they make it real easy to kind of be fat and be on the couch for the military as far as doing what they need you to do. They make the money flow easy, and they put a lot of things in front of you if you want to try to leave, you know, when your contract is up or you do 2 contracts or something. They don't like people to go into it kind of knowing what they're trying to get out of it. They don't really like people like that. They'll still recruit them, but they definitely try to change that mentality, and they foster an environment that promotes staying. Which, I mean, why the fuck wouldn't they? I'm not saying they're bad for not doing that. I'm just saying for doing that, that's just a dynamic you have to keep in mind. And that's the same thing with anything. Shit is going to serve itself. Women are going to serve themselves. Black men are like the only men that don't want to be selfish. Black men believe that it's honor. Like we're the only people that want to be selfish, which is why we the motherfuckers stay losing. You know, so yes, all these individual things, get your money up, get your body up, your money up, the quality of life up. Of course you should do that. Of course you should do that. But this is where the bullshit comes in. What they want
Yeah,
you to do is be exclusive to them when you do that. They don't want you to hold them to the same standard. Let's say you get your body up, you get your money up, you become this nigga. You look like a football player and you making $100,000. Shit, you making $40,000 a month. They want you to now take them as they are. Go ahead.
yep, yeah, and I think that and what you said, and on the Bernard rally, he said, he brought solution. Either some dudes is not culturally compatible with them, or either you date out or you interculture dating, and they didn't like your response. And Mr. Fantastic, oh no, dudes can't do that. And the fact of the matter, and what you said, um, Mr. Fantastic was he's a tall dude. I don't know how tall. Like, what, he like six
Nigga
foot?
like 6'5".
That's what I'm talking about. And I'm like 6'1". So it's like, and the fact of the matter is that he's having problems. So if he's having problems with these women, it's like, oh, and he's having issues and all this. And he's first place. He's on this space, and he's talking about. So I guess the body game is not working. He's tall and do all this. So that's what I'm saying. So all these
Fantastic,
arguments.
yeah, fantastic thing was he was trying to say the viability is not viable. But again, I've never said that. I've said if you get 20% of black men to do this, that like the top 20%. And when I say top, I'm talking about economic currency. I'm talking about genetic currency. So you get so we already know if you a nigga that's 6'1", you're in the top 14% just off gate. Fuck the money, fuck everything else. Then you also got to cut that down by a couple of points too, because every nigga that's 6'1" ain't straight. So, and it's to the point now that if you look the part, a lot of these chicks on the low will fuck a nigga that's bisexual. Knowingly. Especially in Atlanta. That's how much they want that. I'm saying that to say that's how much they want that aesthetic. That's what they're, and all this bullshit about they didn't know, lies. Women are
Yeah,
not
yeah,
they
yeah,
lies. They the bitches that call you gay the most are the ones that get tricked the most. Ha, lies. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. And what you said, and I think Jessica X was saying, well, that's not that's only a micro a micro thing. You got to change the something about the culture. Well, the culture is not going to change. It is what it is. So, and I'm thinking that
Cultures
like,
don't change. Like you could have culture like shift points, but what she
mhm.
was saying, that's some naive shit.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That was just some like, yeah, it was, yeah. So you made your point, and yeah. So, and I think that yeah, and after that, what you said, and I was like, and they was keep on talking about all this other stuff, and I was like, yeah, I was like, man, like, what are you talking about now? So it's like, and Brittany Renner, and like you were saying that, she ain't nothing but like a predator. So that's basically what she is, and
Well, I
like,
mean, she's a gold digger. Yeah, she's a gold digger. I mean, if people want to use like, yeah, I would argue that you could argue that she is a predator, but she is because she is really doing some really hard extreme gold digging. This is Kevin Samuels meeting Brittany Renner, which he should have did like something where somebody needs to do this where it's like a horror music thing, like like she, especially with the red hair and shit, because she do look like it a little bit with this shit.
only reason why I said the predator. I remember she said, "Well, I'm coming to college.
Yeah,
I'm
she
coming for
playing with
your
that
son.
shit. Yeah, she
Yeah, I'm
playing
coming
with it.
for your son." So imagine if a dude came up there, like a 50-year-old dude said, I'm like came to university. Oh, I'm coming for your daughters and stuff, huh?
That would never fly. And my thing is,
That's what I'm
why is
talking
that?
about. That's what I'm saying. She's a predator, man. So I was like, a dude would be called a predator, but like, she's a gold. It makes something there. That's why I call bullshit, nah? Bullshit, nah?
Yeah, and I mean, like when you look at Brittany, I mean, at the end of the day, Brittany is a single mom. Motherfuckers are out here. Like, really, when you look at her with this picture, I mean, she alright, but niggas be like, nigga, it's all like, come on, man. Like, you mean to tell me you ain't seen a chick that look like that in real life? Like walking around, is that what you really saying? Like motherfuckers really be niggas be stop giving these bitches status. Like these chicks are not like I get look at it. Anyway, don't even get me started on that
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, she's not that. She got like a little cuteness, but she really ain't that pretty, man. You know what I'm saying, in the face. So, and I think that she's like, and I think what it is just that, like,
she light skinned.
you
That's what
know,
that is too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She light skinned and have a little behind. That's it.
She wouldn't stand out like that in California.
Oh hell no! I mean, especially overseas. Overseas, you get destroyed, man.
She
Like
wouldn't stand out like that in New York.
and stuff like yeah. So, and I think yeah, you're right. And I'm thinking that like a lot of these dudes be over giving these women way too much uh they be pumping these hyping these chicks up way too much, man. It's like and I'm like, man, these guys, they act like they have never seen a damn woman, man, or something like that. It's Lisa, and these yeah, it's pretty bad, man.
Her body is nah. Her face is better than that, but her body is not a 9. Her body is a 7. I mean, she really. I mean, the thing is, she got ass. That's what they really. You giving her points because she light. That's really what it is. That is really what it is. And I know these niggas are doing that. And yeah, I might do that meme. That meme with her and it, because she do be coming after these young niggas like it. Somebody need to just like how you had the it. We had the clause in the page, and you had the young dudes. You should have that with a whole bunch of niggas. You had PJ, then Lamelo Ball, and then we pick a couple other young motherfuckers goofy ass niggas. That would be a good that somebody should work on that. I'm definitely gonna write that
and
down.
and she's like kind of like you can tell that she's like kind of narcissist or kind of a little bit ain't all there in
the
in her head or
the thing
something.
the thing that gives her this is what it is with Brittany Renner. Cause I know niggas will be thinking I'm like cap nigga, you a capping ass nigga. I would eat her shit. Okay, let me bridge the gap for you all. What it is Brittany Renner has what I call sexual charisma. And you can be a
Hmm.
chick that you're not necessarily you can't be fat and do this, but you can be there's certain chicks that it's something about them where it's like, man, you probably think they got that throat or they got lip or something the way they walk, their sexual charisma, especially if you got like a drink or two in, it really more so makes you want to hit like more so. because they're able to communicate a lot of sexual energy. A lot of these women really don't be knowing how to do that, because especially nowadays with everybody twerking and shit. So I get that. What it is with Britney, when you look at her movements
Yeah,
and shit,
sexual
like,
energy. Yep.
yeah, like movements and shit like that. That's what that is. That's what that is. She's able to and then on top of that, you combine that with her being light skinned and how niggas are with that, you know, because remember, Kaepernick didn't fall for that shit. You know,
No, yeah.
Kaepernick made her pay for her own fucking flight.
Yeah, 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 and I think she's like, yeah, she know how to flaunt that she know how to flaunt in the sexual energy, but but she's not. I would say this, and people confuse um being overly sexual and stuff with being with femininity, because she don't have no femininity, huh? She know how to be sexual, but she's not. I wouldn't
Well,
consider
yeah,
her
well,
say,
see,
oh,
yeah,
she's a feminine woman.
and even the word sexual charisma, a lot of these
Yeah.
women don't have sexual charisma. So
Hmm.
so there's a reason why I strategically use that. And if you know how to use that and communicate that on social media, I mean, you're gonna be good. And that's what, and so her presence, probably she has a say. That's what she do, that little head shit with to the side and shit like that, or her movements. Like, yeah, and see, I can recognize that. Shout out to D Scott with the $2. See, I know people, I know shit like that, and I've recognized that. And yes, that shit will, if you don't know how to deal with that or what you're dealing with, yes, that shit will put your ass in the friend zone, because you'll be in a type of nigga to be like, I'm just happy that I'm in her presence. A lot of you niggas are like that for something, like niggas will be like, yeah, man, I'm friends with her. And you ain't fucking, but you think you get points just because you know the bitch. And I'm like, if you friends with the bitch and you fucking and you look at, she may got some good looking friends that you may be able to get access to, okay, you playing a game. Mostly 90% of these, 99% of these niggas in the friend zone don't work the friend zone like it needs to be worked. They don't really work the friend zone to their benefit. There's ways to work the friend zone to your benefit, even if you are not fucking. But see, it's gonna require you to get her to do something, or get you to put you in position where you can kind of take advantage of the shit. Like, for example, so and then the woman is gonna want in exchange from you, because now, see, this is how you know you're in friend zone. When you ask a bitch for something, they get real transactional with your ass, because then they see this as a one-way transaction, and now you're introducing reciprocation to it. But that's not really, you don't see, in their minds, you don't have the right to do that. I've learned that in high school. Like, if you want to know where a bitch stands with you, even some small shit, think of the smallest thing you can ask a bitch to do for you, and then see how she just thinks about the shit. I'm like, bitch, this ain't nothing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, 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 and I think that, yeah, with
Even if
me,
you
I
ask
never.
a bitch what time it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, and I think with me, you know, and maybe I was in maybe the friend zone as a
Niggas be in the
maybe I
friend
don't know,
zone for
like
like 10 years.
middle school or something like that, or something, whatever, or something like that. But yeah, and I'm thinking like, me, I was just too honest, like, and I think that with me, I just was just upfront, man, like, and I think that that's how I move, and like, and I think that, well, too, I was taller, so I never had problems just getting something or something like that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I mean,
you one of them, man, just talk to her.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Niggas,
yeah, 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 something like that. But I don't know, but I was like, yeah, and I thinking that, like, dudes playing all these games. I'm trying to be your friend. I'm like, look, I just didn't have time for all that bullshit, man. And I think that, yeah, and especially, too, in university life, when I was in university, shoot, I just went to a party and it was over. If you went to a party, you hook up with a chick, that's basically where it happened with me and stuff like that. So, and I think I didn't really go through um a lot of that stuff like that, especially and too, it's like if dudes like um we don't want to get some. I was, look, man. I mean, Becky's will give it away and all this type of stuff, and all that type of stuff. The dudes are just concerned about just getting vagina, vagina, vagina all the time. So, and I think that's the that's the thing. And I'm thinking that, like, a lot of these guys are just so, like you said, simping and such weak, man. I'm thinking like these guys are just like, I don't know, man. It's like, I didn't realize it was that bad. Huh?
Well, you got to remember, dudes, basically, women are playing the zero sum game, and
Hmm.
dudes are not changing the environment. Your greatest power is your power of choice. If you choose to remain, and when I say environment, I don't necessarily even mean a physical environment, although that's a part in it. Even you dealing with women of other classes, vertical, horizontal, even you putting, leaving a city. There's a lot of different ways to change the environment, and a lot of dudes don't want to do that. This is why a lot of black men don't like economics. This is why a lot of black men overinvest in game. They overinvest in swag, because you get your economics together. And when I say economics, I'm not even talking about traveling. Just if you get your economics to the point where you control your time, like you don't got to work a 9 to 5, you can do shit other people cannot do. It's almost a whole different world that a lot of people have not seen until the pandemic came and they got some little extra money. Now they're like addicted to it. So you got niggas that, like, even if they're in Chicago, all they know is the South Side. All they know is the bitches from that. All they know is the dynamics from that. They ain't even never left Cook County, So, or LA. Now LA, you kind of get away with that because you got a lot of people coming into LA. Same thing with North Carolina, same thing with Florida. All they know is what they've dealt with. And here's the thing, it ain't even just like of different races. It'll be just the particular women they've been imprinted by, that they like. That's all they know. That's why when motherfuckers get in the military, they come back so different and shit. Like, because once you expanded what you know, then your brain is automatically going to reprocess the new information. This is why I always say you can lead a country and not even fuck and still come back different. Just you being in the presence of women that's gonna treat you like a man, as far as like somebody with respect. Like, your manhood points is something for you to lose, not gain. See, when you engage with black women, you have to prove your manhood. When you engage with a lot of other women, that's something for you to lose. That's not something based on how you act, not something for you to gain. And black men don't even understand what that is unless you're one of these pre-qualified niggas that, because they like you fit the imprint of what certain like they like, then, and you're not gonna see it because to you that's like water. I'm not saying dudes like that don't have no issues, but that's like water. It's like fishes swimming in water. This is why you had one dude that really thought that he was giving validation, credibility to a white female amongst white people. And she had to correct them. And she was like, I can't believe that you actually believe that. Because that dude was applying that same logic in the black community, other communities, and there's other dynamics involved.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. That was a good point. And I was like, yeah, man. He was acting like America was like, was a black country. Like we in Nigeria, or we in
oh
Ethiopia,
yeah,
or we in Ghana. I was like, look, America is like a white damn country. So it's like, hell no, you're going to be on um lower, pole or something, like, compared to
white women with 33
whiteness.
white women with 30 white women were 33% of the vote in the election, the last election that happened. 33% white women alone. Latins don't technically qualify as white. You got some of them that are operating as white, but so you see what I'm saying? So my point is, like I was saying with Fantastic, yo, it's like we're 6% of the population. Like, I don't understand. No, man, black males are 20 million. And look, I get it. Like I said, he just got off that boat. He's trying to go, but I'm like, dude, I know what I'm talking, because I've went over this myself. This is not like, I know the numbers, and even, yeah, like we're a bigger, like, for instance, just to give you an example, there's black adult black men are the total population of Haiti, the total, because Haiti's 10 million. So I get it. I'm not saying that we don't have significant numbers, but what I'm saying is you don't really need to leave the country if you really want to do what you want to do. And here's another thing people keep fucking forgetting. I'm not necessarily talking about getting other races of women and just having in mixed babies and killing the race. I never said that. I said sexual access. That's what I said, because that's what other groups do. Other groups, there's an understanding that you can fuck whoever you want to from a heterosexual standpoint. Boys will be boys, but you need to get you a good Jewish girl or a good Indian girl. That's what they say. They'll let you. And I've seen women get that path. I know a couple of females, white females, where they had a couple of black boyfriends. They kind of transitioned out of that into college and kind of had like maybe different races. They're with lily white dudes, engineers, all of that. Ain't nobody the wiser. Ain't nobody the wiser. White family, white, 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 white. And these are people that, and I ain't gonna say they were getting ran through. They weren't getting ran through. They had sex a lot with the dudes they had sex with, but it's a difference between having sex a lot with like one dude or two dudes, which doesn't often get talked about because women be thinking that's this having sex a lot is the same as having sex with different dudes. It's not. And that's what they be trying to confuse the shit. I know the difference between somebody I done fucked it if you fuck it a whole bunch of times, but it's one person. That's not really what fucks you up. What fucks you up is the different dicks, the different energies that come with that. Anyway, I know that. But again, those people were had a father and all that shit. But anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, so it's there's a lot of dynamics at play that because you have new people, a new audience, folks, and the general audience, you have people that they want to cope. That's really what it is. YouTube is entertainment. YouTube is for them to cope. It's for them to validate what they already think because they see the world breaking in front of them and they're being told a lot of shit that nobody has told them. And they just can't cope. They're looking for people that they can land. They're looking for, it's kind of like if you see them videos with like them puppies or them cats that are kittens that'll be walking around in the cold shivering, and white people, oh, here you go, and they give them a home. That's what they're looking for in these conversations. And if you're willing to tell them what they want to hear and mirror what they already want to believe, you can make a lot of money doing that hustling. I just refuse to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yep.
say Edward, you can go ahead, bro.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, well, exactly what you said. And I think that, a lot of people just don't want to be honest. And I think at the situation and predicament, uh, the state of the culture, is basically, it is in a crisis. And I think that, yeah, and I think they don't want to face the reality, but like, thinking, black dudes like you and stuff like, and me and the other rest of the people, we know what's up, and I think that, and we know we're so far, our thought process is like, so outside, the mainstream and stuff like that. That's why we can, you can break down, talk about these things because you examine these things, and a lot of people ain't even really thought about, a lot of this stuff. So I think that, and I think that, like I think Pablo had a video, he was just talking about like Passport Brothers or whatever, SYSBM, we kind of like to know Navy SEALs or something like that, in the space, and it's like it's almost, and I think that it's real, it's in the sense that we living in a totally different world, man. It's almost in the sense that and I think that's what's going on, like they're not living like we're advanced Earth software, and other people are still living on the we call it low we call it outdated software. So
Yeah, and at the end of the day, this information, like I hate to say it's every man for themselves, but you're ultimately needing to put yourself in the position that you need to win. Like a lot of people will look at this information and they kind of sit with it, and everything is always in motion. And also another thing to keep in mind is like take Jennifer Lopez. I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna start wrap it up. Take Jennifer Lopez for example. Jennifer Lopez, you wouldn't know who that bitch was. Like, and I don't have an issue with Jennifer Lopez. I actually like Jennifer Lopez as far as her music and some of her movies. But the truth is, you wouldn't know who that bitch was if it wasn't for black men. That's a fact. It wasn't Latin women that put it wasn't Latin men that put that bitch on. It was black men. I don't give a fuck what you want to say, and she knows it. It was the Wayne. It was what's the Wayans patriarch who really
yeah,
got her thing on Living Color, and it was
living
it
color.
was
Yep.
that and it was that shit is how Janet Jackson found her, and it was that shit that got her discovered. And then that the movie with the Money Train with Wesley Snipes when
Wesley
Wesley
Snipes.
Snipes,
Yep.
yeah, and then her music career it was Ja Rule that really helped her out when she first did that. It really gave her a wide appeal that allowed her to be able to leverage pop culture. She was before Kim K. She was the original light skinned bitch with an ass. You know, and a Puff Daddy, yeah, you right. It's Ja Rule and P Diddy. My bad, you right. and Keenan Ivory Wayans. So you got three black. Like so my thing I would say, and J Lo got her money. She's cashed out. I'm like, bitch, black. You can't rewrite that. It wasn't Latin man that put your ass on. It wasn't Mark Anthony that put you on. Mark Anthony may have put you on with the white, the Latin motherfuckers in Latin America down south. You know, once you were already kind of already known. But Mark Anthony didn't make you popular on your own. That was black men that did that. Those are facts. And you notice those are all three dark-skinned black men that did that. And so for her to play this kind of little pre-Me Too game for what? I'm like, bitch, you have your money. You have your money. And to be fair, to Jennifer Lopez, you know, this is not the first time she did this. Jennifer Lopez and Jason, she didn't make as big of a deal with it because the media wasn't gonna let her spread that out about a white dude. But she she made this video. It was a movie she did, and I saw this movie. And this is a movie that she did not have to do. And this is a movie with Jason Statham. He was up there, but Jason Statham was up there. It was in kind of when he was doing the transporter. He did a movie called Parker. I didn't see this movie in a movie theater. It was a good little movie,
Yeah,
a little Florida
yeah,
movie.
I seen it.
Yeah, with Jennifer Lopez trying to be that up and coming, hustler, real estate agent, basically using her looks in that, because that's something that people are talking about. Yeah, it was a good little, it's a good little movie. It's good. It's a good little movie. And I'm not trying to, say shit about the movie, but it ain't the transporter. But it's something there. You want to pop something in there, see something, it'd be worth a watch. She got a scene in there where it's just her, and then somebody's looking at her while she takes her clothes off. And she doesn't even go nude. She's just she's in her underwear, and she's basically putting on the her real estate outfit, her real estate, her business clothes for real estate to present this fucking house. you know um they say Jason Statham and Jennifer Lopez most watched movie on Netflix. You might be able to see it on Netflix, Parker, and it's actually it is worth the watch, especially if you can get on Netflix. And then she's talking about, no, her playing Selena helped with Latin people, but ultimately, yeah, it helped. All right, I'll give you that, Jackie. It helped, but it wasn't the main thing. Yeah, Anaconda was good. Anaconda too,
Yeah, it's with black folks.
which is fucking
Ice Cube.
yeah, who I think was the executive producer of that movie. So my point is, but with Parker, she said that about Parker, where she said that oh, I felt horrible about doing it. I'm like, bitch, you weren't doing a love scene with nobody. Yeah, the way you felt was, I'm fucking J Lo, because remember, J Lo put her first album out in 19, I think it was 19, no, it was 2001. Because I remember that. Waiting for tonight. Because that was that was what Will Smith had the thing with Casey and JoJo with 2000 and all that. That was like
Yep.
right leading up to 9/11. So I remember that time very well. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
had my
yeah.
love,
I
all that.
remember that time very well too, man. Yeah, me and you from the same era.
Yeah, so those, she, when she was first coming out, and because this was before, people forget, Beyonce didn't come into play until, like, on her own until 2005. So Destiny's
Yep.
Child was still live, but they still had a couple of years. They were still leading up. So my point, no, she's becoming a fucking Karen. That's what that is. That's really what that is. And I may do a video on that. But my thing is, throughout the whole 90s, while you were building that up, like, it wasn't white people, it was the black audience, and it was black men that did that. So for you to do that to Wesley Snipes because you're upset, but to be fair, she did that. She did that first in March, because I remember that, because I kind of lightly covered that with Jason Statham. And Jason Statham is from the UK, and she tried to play that game. So that was probably her doing the test waters, but she understands that they not gonna blow that up. They not gonna blow that up because it's a white dude. They're not gonna do that. At the very least, they'll keep it quiet. At very worst, they're gonna make her look stupid. And this is when Jennifer Lopez was 10 years in, so she already was getting her money. This is when a lot of her deals with the perfume and stuff were coming in. So she was going into that, like, that really like getting, like, kind of in that Mary J. Blige status that Beyonce said, was she able to get business investment at a high level. and kind of rise above just the music. And so but she still did Parker. And it's like, that was in the script, bitch. That's not something they just put in the script. That was in the script. Like, so you knew what and it's like, bitch, you just had to take your clothes. I mean, dudes do it all the time. It's like, oh, you were in your bra and panties and you just put on that business skirt and the other thing. That ain't that big of a deal. So it's kind of like, and so I hate when Latin bitches, y'all want to trade. And here's the thing why I say this, like, you bitches trade on your sexuality. You're known for being the most sexual amongst women and the most feminine amongst women. You all really don't get tagged with the whore complex like that. You really don't. So you all get to leverage the advantage of it, but then y'all want to turn after you make your money. You want to, man, like, bitch, shut the fuck up. And I kind of said that then, but I didn't care as much because it was a white dude. I kind of rolled my eyes on that. But now, this is why you need black media. Now, granted, you like, I'm waiting for the bitches to be like, they want to ignore, all this killing that these women are doing. They would be like, well, this is what happens when you elevate a non-black woman. Well, that's our choice to do it, and we'll clean up our own shit.
Well,
That's
yeah. And also, she was Puerto Rican, so I got family from like New York, Queens and stuff, and Puerto Ricans live around black folks. So, and basically, like the Puerto Ricans, they went through
you have.
uh, um, she knew she had to go through black people, so
Yeah,
to
but
get where she
you
wanted.
have to be more on. But see, and you're right. But and I don't mean to cut you off, but you have to watch they ass more than you watch anybody else for that reason, because
Mhm.
they are not the same as you. I don't give a fuck what they say. I fuck with Carmelo. Carmelo is Puerto Rican before he's black. That's what he said. He won't go out of his way to say it, but if you ask him, he won't deny it. And the thing is, I don't have it. This is what people always, you just anti. Shut the fuck up. I'm not anti nothing. I'm pro me. That's what I am.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
right about that.
Like, there's a difference. I don't have no, like, I actually, I had her physical album. And I was burning a hell of a lot of shit back in Napster and shit. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. But the reality of the situation is, and it's the same thing when you look at ESPN and you see Sage Steele and Carrie Champ, oh, they're black, so they're automatically, no. You gotta, no. We gotta start letting people earn that shit and stop making assumptions that shit is there. And that's hard. I understand. That's not an easy thing to live, because it's like, it's very lonely. Like, really, like, it's a lonely mentality to have. So I understand the need of wanting to live in the ideal of, they're cool to come. And no, fuck that shit. And see, I'm a light skinned nigga saying that. Really, it's me
Yeah,
a whole
yeah,
bunch of motherfuckers checking her ass for that bullshit.
yeah,
Cause she
yeah.
wouldn't
Me
do it
too.
if it was light skinned. Go ahead.
Yeah, me too. Like, I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know. I guess about Will Smith, Muhammad Ali, complexion. So I don't know if you consider that light skin. I don't know. I
It's
don't.
not dark
But
skin. But my point is, J-Lo wouldn't be saying that if it was a light skinned dude. She
yeah,
wouldn't.
and like Mora Leagra. What's her name? What's her
Yeah,
name?
Marilyn Negra.
Yeah, something like that. I think she gets caught because she's a dark skinned Afro Latino. So I think so she gets caught in that blackness, and then like because the Hispanic community is like hella colorism and
Oh,
sometimes
hell yeah. Yeah, black women. Oh, hell yeah. Black women don't
anti-blackness
know.
going on. Yeah, and I think that with her, nobody would think, oh well, she's they just be thinking that she a regular black, another black chick's like, she wouldn't say Dominican. And I think that's a difference because you see it. I mean, or like La Negra, um, she doesn't really. I mean, she gets some attention, but she ain't getting the attention like
No, she
like
ain't
in the
get, but
sense.
she also is not getting railgun like Jennifer Lopez did either.
Yeah.
She, like, Jennifer Lopez was putting a lot, and I'm not. Jennifer Lopez is incredibly hard worker. She's just as much of a hard worker as Beyonce.
She
So
knew how to play the game, man. Yep.
yeah, yeah, and I would argue that she's probably more cunning than Beyonce as well. But you got to think, she had her dad. She didn't have to be cunning.
Hmm.
She had her dad. It was in the industry and all of that. They looked out for her interests. So I'm not trying to shit on. Shout out to Pensive. I'm not trying to shit on. But we're gonna lay facts. bitch, all of that hard work, all of that cunning shit wouldn't mean shit if it wasn't for you took advantage of the opportunities, but it was black men that gave you a lot of those opportunities. And it wasn't just initial ones. It wasn't just your acting career. There's black men that's got hands in your acting career, that's got hands in your music career, that every time you needed a nigga, and my point with black men is it is fuck what the bitches are saying as far as them crying, because black men, because Ice Cube has hooked up many black women too. So this idea that it ain't like we just only dealing with non-black women, but we got to start understanding whether they're black women or non-black women. And I'd say in particular non-black women, but also black women too, that you fucking it up for the next bitch. Because don't think, now granted, it ain't necessarily been a need for other women to come up like that, other Latin women to come up like that, because the Latin base is a lot more established. Social media has interconnected Latins a lot more, as far as in the US and down south. So it's a little bit different. But that's why I've always hated New Yorkers about she ain't white, she's Spanish. I'm like, nigga, I understand you're sexually attracted to her. I get that. But that's that divine femininity shit. Rather than that's what that is. Rather than you recognizing that your women starve you of femininity. So because you got to remember, you look at how Jennifer Lopez sounds and acts, that is diametrically opposed to even her tonality. That is diametrically opposed to what you get in the Bronx, what you get in New York, and how Northeastern black women operate, which is really hard, which is really
Yep.
masculine. And that's what I know. That's what them niggas are falling in love with. And I'm like, you need to recognize that, because that interrupts your power. This is why them niggas always doing the most tricking in the Dominican Republic from those zones, because those flights are cheap. I get it. That's why niggas were going to the South to get feminine women. But you have to recognize that you've been denied, but you are owed femininity. Femininity is a right to you as a man. And if women are not willing to give it to you, you should not be providing protection or provision. They need to just be on their fucking own. But at the same time, what you don't want to do, which is why I say do not go red pill for black women, to only remain blue pill for non-black women. Jennifer Lopez is a perfect example, because she's a perfect example of that. And so niggas got to stop. A lot of niggas want to establish their manhood by helping bitches. It's like, no, y'all got to start making bitches earn your fucking help. Stop. If you can do shit for bitches, don't do, like, you may do one thing, kind of like give them a sample, but don't be fucking changing their life and then thinking these bitches are going to reciprocate. That's stupid. That's why I don't like to teach bitches shit. I don't teach bitches shit unless it benefits me. Like, I'm not gonna teach you shit. Yeah, I'm a man. Fuck that. I like, especially if it's for free shit. Because I pay when people teach me something.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas be like, yeah, man, because it's a manhood. Nigga, you're stroking your own ego, and you letting that bitch basically like play with you on autopilot like fucking Ultron and shit. You're an idiot. And then you get mad when they turn on you. That's what happened. What's that dude? Faust, the chick, he founded a lot of dudes. He founded the bitch that Neo's married to, Miracle Watts. He taught these chicks these chicks used to be strippers, these beautiful women, how to eat right, how to really waist train, how to really get their bodies where they needed to. Gave them all the game. This is pre OnlyFans. And then these chicks always moved on from him. They didn't help him build his platform. They used them and then they moved on. They didn't even keep them around just in case they might have to double back to that shit.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think that, like, yeah, and some dudes that doing all this type, the woman is gonna have to invest in you, like you
Lala
invest in her.
is
It
Puerto
has,
Rican.
yeah, it has to be reciprocal, and if it's not, and if it's not like that, it goes both ways and stuff like that. And I think that they got to meet you halfway, and and if they're not willing to do that, and it's like that's the yeah,
Yeah.
then
Yeah, J-Lo can, I mean, Beyonce can sing more than J-Lo. I would say J-Lo is
is a
probably
better dancer.
a little bit more, yeah, is a better dancer. I don't think she's as better of a dancer than Beyonce is better in her singing. I would say J-Lo may slightly have on her business deals. Um, but
And
what but
also, yeah,
but what Beyonce got over her is Jay-Z, is relationship things, because Beyonce, is family structure. I mean, at the end of the day, Jennifer Lopez, for what all she is still Jenny from the block. There's a certain class thing that Beyonce has over her. But I would say they're, at the end of the day, the comparisons like that, I would say, look, they are peers. Like, as far as they are on the same level. You can say Beyonce's slightly higher than her. I'll give you that, but they are peers. They
I
are
think J
peers.
Lo is higher. I think J Lo is higher in as far as the movie stuff is like
Yeah,
she like J Lo like J Lo knows how to fit into the white
but
structure better than Beyonce
well,
does,
she's
right?
allowed to. And to be fair,
Yeah, yeah,
I
she's
don't. The
allowed to,
movie
huh?
thing, the movie thing is like Jennifer Lopez has some alright movies. She has a
Hmm.
movie career, but she can't lean on that movie career on her own. With
No,
Jennifer
no.
Lopez, it's the totality of everything, and she's really more known for her music as far as legacy shit. Like, her
Mhm.
music is what's gonna be her legacy. The movies, like, she did some fucking movies. The bitch looked good. She had a couple of things like Enough and all that shit. But the reality is, she ain't. She did more movies than Beyonce, but the truth is, she just did more. It wasn't like Jennifer Lopez is a lot better in her movies than the movie that Beyonce's done. It's just that's not the focus. And so, as people
Mhm.
that just got it in out of like Hollywood and the entertainment industry as entertainers and people that gotten money, I mean, they're peers. I mean, if people want to play like who's better than who, I mean, even with Mary J, they're peers. They are, like, at that point, it's like, are they on the same level? And in a lot of metrics, they are. In most metrics, they are on the same level. Like, one may be better than the other, but they are. Um, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, black men got to start paying attention to that. And I think for the most part, black men have gotten smarter with that, but they're still not where they need to be. And yeah, it is what it is. I mean, but and look, and shout out to Jessica X, but that's where a lot of the complaints with Jessica X comes in. I understand like where those complaints come from. I do. I understand the nature of them because, like I said, this Jennifer Lopez shit, something I've paid attention. Like, I pay attention to shit like that. That's why people get mad. Why do you bring up ADOS? I bring these things up to let you know these dynamics are always omnipresent. Y'all may not pay attention to them all the time. I have other things to be paying attention to as well. But the reality is, the stuff, just because it's not presented to you right in front of your face, does not mean it's not there in the background. It doesn't mean that. And y'all gotta, y'all just gotta be mindful of what stuff is around you. So anyway, we're about to end this. But you got any
All right, man.
final thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking like, yeah. What was the? Well, yeah. I forgot what the whole topic was. Like, was
No, I was just shooting shit. I mean, I had a couple of
that,
things
what?
we were going to talk
Oh, okay.
about.
What was the original topic from the
The
begin
original
with?
topic was like the body count thing.
And what, dating out or something?
Yeah, that was part of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I think that yeah, yeah, you're right. And I think that it all comes down to what what you said. It goes back to my point is like you're saying, we know the culture is, it is what it is. The people have to accept it for what it is, and you find a way that you can adapt or stuff like that. You date out, interculture date and stuff like that. But I think some of these, some of these people are so they've been programmed to function. It's like the Matrix. They've been programmed to focus within the frameworks of this stuff like that. They can't even like bring them out of it. They like they just start malfunctioning. They don't know how to act right now. So yeah, and I think that yeah, that's what I wanted to say, huh?
Absolutely. Well, it's been a great conversation. It's been, I hope y'all pull some shit from this. This is gonna be interesting seeing how stuff pull from 2020. To, like I said, if y'all want to kind of hear a State of the Union address of this space, definitely check out Grinch's video. I did share it on my community tab. Um, it's gonna be interesting, especially when I look at some of the stuff. I know I keep saying this, but I've given y'all little snippets of some of the stuff I've been working on. Yeah, I'm gonna drop you down, Jay. Snippets of stuff that I've been doing, but I'm about to bring it all together, and then I'm probably gonna turn this into a legit channel. So it's gonna be real, and a lot of the stuff that I do and the style of this that I already do it in is probably gonna get pulled. Um, it's gonna be on Patreon. When I say on Patreon, I mean it's gonna be public. So it ain't. And then we're gonna be putting some channels together, doing some collabs. We're gonna do some really good stuff, and then see where it goes. Yeah, Katie, you're right. Like they'll probably remember Selena, but well, I mean, you could consider JC. You can consider them black. But the issue is how do they operate as? And a lot of people. This is why I keep saying I did a video a long time ago. Don't let them tell you who they want to be. And that video really talked about, black people have this tendency to tell people who the fuck they are. They're gonna let you believe who the fuck they are because that allows them to get shit out of you. And we got to stop doing that. And that's the stupid shit that a lot of black people said black men did. And look, here's the thing: we know the situation we got with our women, so they gonna have their conversation for their own agenda. That's not what I'm talking about. Dudes will bring J-Lo into the fold because they think they doing the right thing, and it's sexual politicking. And I'm like, nigga, that's what it is. That's where it starts. That's where it ends. And y'all got to stop doing that shit. If y'all want some Puerto Rican or Latin pussy, go get it. But stop fucking rail gunning bitches up because you want to get your dick wet. You gotta stop doing that. And stop that's that possibility of sex bullshit. Which is, by the way, why a lot of these non-black women like dealing with you. Now, granted, if you getting sexual access, you getting sexual access. Yeah, but they consider this I don't let people, if people tell me who they are, I accept that. Or if they show me who they are, I accept that. If they're not on the team, it's not about me saying, "Oh, fuck you all the way," but it's about saying, "Look, man, I understand how to categorize people. When it comes to people you keep close to the chest, people you keep at an arm distance, people you keep halfway in between, and you got niggas that allow shit like sexual access to pollute that shit. Nah, man, she ain't white, she's Spanish." And then you get that bitch that was on Lead Attorney that she around nothing but black men, but she got this kind of racist back and forth bullshit, even though she got a black dad. And she y'all niggas need to stop that. Look, I get you on some Latin pussy. Go get it. Stop. And this is why I'd rather some of you niggas just go buy the shit and go bust a nut in a nice looking Latin bitch and get it off. So you can get that post nut clarity. Mello doesn't advertise it. No, he doesn't advertise it, but Mello has said it. Just cause Mello you ain't heard him say it, Mello has said it. I'm not just saying that. Mello has stated it more than once. It's just not something that he's gonna make public, because why would he? Why would Mello go out of his way to say that when he clearly looks black? His money, his sponsorship coming from people. Spanish people can be very racist. I won't say they're all racist, but they can be. And it's definitely something you need to pay the fuck attention to. And I'm saying this is a light-skinned nigga. I mean, for real, though, Ian Graves, that's what it is. When you hear shit called leaving it to the imagination, one of the things is if you a nigga and you thinking about a bitch too much and you ain't fucked the bitch, nigga, your brain, that actually fucks with you to the point where you start simping. That's why I'm like, nigga, if you really want that, yeah, nigga, I'm about to do all this because, it's J-Lo, it's J-Lo. When you fuck a couple of bitches that look like her, you're not going to be thinking like that. Not like that. And black men got a real bad habit of doing that. And by the way, for the black bitches, black men do that with black women too. We do that with black women too. That ain't some shit. Oh, but y'all don't like us because that's bullshit. We do that with black women too, which is why black women always going fishing with the bullshit, because they know it's some suckers out here. They just gotta get one to bite, which is why they always come with the bullshit. That's why. And you niggas don't understand that. And this is why niggas will be like, nigga, you gay. A nigga, you must not get pussy. I'm like, nigga, the way y'all acting is like y'all don't get pussy. because y'all are on YouTube trying like niggas on YouTube. Look, man, shout out to Jessica, but at the end of the day, ain't no picture gonna fucking move me. Y'all niggas adult like the fact that she's able to make money in this space like she is off some avatar shit and how she sound. Y'all niggas ain't getting pussy. Y'all kiss my fucking ass. Anyway, hit me up with the Cash App. Hope you appreciate the conversation. We're going to make it hot. We're going to end the year strong. With that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.